Big up. What is going on, every single one of you? How are you doing? Welcome to another installment of the Casually Chelsea Show. Here we are during international break. As you guys already know, news can be a little slow during international break. A few things have broken out and we will discuss them. But before we do, as always, guys, be sure to help out the channel by smashing that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Be sure to check out all the links in the description for more content available for you guys. That'll help during this international break. And be sure to check out the memberships. There's 4 different tiers starting at 99p, and it's one of the best ways to always help out the channel and keep the lights on in the building. But yeah, listen, folks, we're probably not going to go for 3 hours. It's probably going to be one of the shorter episodes because there's really not that much news out there, but there is still plenty to discuss. So once again, smash up all the icons and let's get this show on the road. And we'll start off with the first thing that I had, which is coming back to something we discussed in earlier shows, which is FIFA changing their schedule for international breaks. And essentially the Athletic is here to confirm that this is officially now going to be in effect next year. So FIFA has changed the men's international calendar for the 2026-2030 period by merging September and October international breaks into one. So by the likes of it, it looks like we're still going to have November, but rather than having September and October back to back, that'll just be one a little bit longer of an international break, which means less interruptions to the season. I kind of wish they merged November in there, some shape or form, but you can't win them all. But regardless, hopefully this is something they don't specify when, but hopefully it's something they do after the first 3 games of the season. Boom, have your international break, and then we're interrupted until the 1st of November, which gives us about 7 to 8 Premier League fixtures without being disrupted by international break. So I'm in favor of the schedule change. To me, it makes more sense. But Scott, what do you think of these changes, man? You think this is a positive?
Maybe. Like, it sucks both ways, really, because we either stick to what we've got now, which like just kind of sucks anyway, because obviously no one likes international breaks. Yeah. But on the other hand, even though there'll be less of them, it will be a lot longer. So instead of having like a couple weeks of no football, just spread out across like,
it'd be essentially 3 weeks.
Three different months. But with like a good, I don't know, 3 weeks in between each international break. It's going to be, I think they said it's going to be like 6 weeks or something, or 4 weeks or something, whatever it is. It's like I think it's a month and a half.
Yeah, it's about a month off.
Which like, it's kind of boring. It's kind of dead.
No, you can always watch South American football.
No,
or qualifiers, I should say.
Yeah, it's a bit boring. But on the other positive side as well, this probably helps the players a lot more.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that actually, because now that I think about it, like if a player is injured, it does give you some time to nurse up, right? And the international break would be good for those players who, especially in this environment we're in right now with FIFA and football, where it's like there's football literally at all times of the year, barring 1 year where it's going to be like an off year where there's no Copa America, Euros, Club World Cup, and World Cup. You know, there's going to be one summer, which is probably going to be next summer, where they actually have like a normal break. But yeah, in terms of player welfare, it also is a little helpful. Obviously, some players get called up regardless, and they don't really get a break, but at least, you know, some can choose to stay and nurse injuries or recover, like we just saw with Reece James, which we'll get onto that later. But yeah, I think overall it's a positive. I kind of rather just get it all over with and then go more uninterrupted into the season, because I hate when we start the Premier League and we get 3 games and boom, it's gone. It's like, really, just 3 games? Like, it was really annoying. It was really annoying.
Yeah, I agree. I also do think as well it's going to be a positive in terms of, I don't know, not many people care about this, but from an international perspective, it should hopefully.
That's a good point.
International managers, like especially those that have a system that's a bit more complicated, requires a bit more tactical instruction. It should help them get their like system across a bit better, because instead of having just like a couple of weeks or a week and a half to like train and get an understanding of the system before the like players piss off again, they'll get a good month to go through that sort of stuff. So, and it also might help them in terms of deciding like teams as well. So like, I can see the positives. It does just suck that it's going to be like a month and a half of no club football.
Yeah, what I would have rather them have done is just take away one of those international breaks. Well, not scrap it, but take away one of those international breaks, which is 2 fixtures, and just add a 3rd fixture onto the other international breaks. So it's just a 3-week instead of a month.
Oh, okay.
You know, like, I think that would have been more tolerable. Listen, like, having a month is going to be dreadful of, like, no Chelsea. It's not even been a week since the Chelsea game, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I want to watch more Chelsea, but, you know, I'm over here rewatching the Liverpool game. It's just, it's going to be a drag. So it would have been a little nicer if they just did 3-week breaks, take the 2 from the 1 and then just spread them into 2 3-week breaks. But at least for the most part, like, you have a great point, right? Like, for international teams, it's going to help with gelling and like getting, you know, tactics down and chemistry and stuff, because usually with these international teams, new players get called up, they have to catch up to what's going on and so on and so forth. So yeah, we'll see how this plays out next season after the World Cup, obviously. And I guess we'll come back and see if we like it or not. Let's go on to the next topic, actually, which is related to our star boy, Cole Palmer. I'm not exactly sure what this means, but let's go into it. So, Cole Palmer apparently trademarked the Cold Palmer. Jesus Christ, I deleted the screen again. All right. Cole Palmer, Jesus, has successfully trademarked the term Cold Palmer. Palmer's application submitted to the UK Government Intellectual Properties Office in November was approved on Friday. That essentially means nobody can use Palmer's cold nickname for commercial use without permission. Okay, fair enough. Then also here it says Cole Palmer has successfully trademarked his autograph. Palmer's successful application includes an exhaustive list of products he intends to sell using trademark terms: soaps, bath salts. Soaps is kind of a weird one. Bath salts, food, snacks, razor blades, mobile phone chargers, drones, underwater vehicles, stationary toys, Christmas crackers, teddy bears. Seems like a lot of holiday stuff, really. So I guess that's good. I mean, he's protecting his brand in a sense, which players do.
Sure.
Is there anything really to add to this? I mean, it's cool, I guess. It's news.
Sure.
At this point, it's just news for the sake of news. Like I said, people, we have a slow news week during international break. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. Make your money, Palmer. I mean, you did. This kid's really commercialized. If you were following during the Club World Cup, then you probably obviously know, like, you know, he was on billboards in Times Square and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of marketing opportunities with Cole as well as other players, to be fair. But unless you guys have any thoughts on this, you can move on. Scott, did you want to add something?
Nope.
Okay, cool. Let's oh, look at that. Sorry guys, YouTube like did an update and there's a few new features I'm only just discovering now. Okay, let's get on from this. Good on you, Cole. You trademark your cold Palmer. Let's talk about Liverpool. Let's come back to this. So obviously after the game, a little bit of analysis, a little bit of aftermath, things to break down, new perspectives to look at. So we have a bit of stuff from the Liverpool game that I thought would be interesting, and we can, you know, discuss some things that maybe we didn't mention in the last show. So right here, Opta Analysis kind of showed us the pass map that led up to the final goal. But it says right here in this tweet, Esteval's dramatic added time goal for Chelsea versus Liverpool saw 10 different Blues players involved in the movement, which lasted only 28 seconds. Only one Premier League goal this season has seen all 11 players involved. Rio Nagamoa's for Liverpool versus Newcastle. We look at this move plus more led goals. Okay, that's a total different advertising. So good to see this. I'll come back to this. We continue here that there is some Sky Cava coming out and saying that there's something irresistible about Chelsea under Maresca when they play on the front foot, which we saw in that last minute, substitution window where Maresca went all hands on deck to attack, and we saw some good things from that as well. And then Bull Skull has had an opinion on Moises Caicedo, which right now Moises Caicedo has been the top of discussion in terms of him versus Declan Rice, which the quick and the short of it, in my opinion, I would prefer Moises Caicedo, but Declan Rice has good attributes too. I do think Moises is better, and that's probably my Chelsea bias, but Scholes had the following to say: I still don't class Caicedo as an all-around midfielder. Okay, I know he's got a great goal and was brilliant. I just prefer the controlling type of midfielders who play with a bit more style and can score goals probably a little bit more often than Caicedo does.
It's an oxymoron.
It is a little, because I feel like he does control the midfield.
That's not the oxymoronic thing about that. The controlling type of midfielders are the guys who don't score goals because they're the controlling type of midfielders who play deep. Your Pirlos, your Jorginhos, etc. They quite famously don't score goals, or a lot of goals, I should say. So I don't know who the fuck he's talking about in world football, because Kroos wasn't like that either. Kroos didn't become a controlling type midfielder until he went to Real Madrid. Because what's his face, Bayern Munich, he was playing a lot further forward, not further forward in terms of, like, he wasn't playing as a 10, but he was more of a box to box. Like, I'm not even saying that I think he's wrong, but my point isn't even that he's wrong. It's then that his point afterwards makes no fucking sense. Like, quite literally no sense, in fact. Like, it's a complete contradiction.
I think this is also antiquated, to be honest. Like, the only one that I can think of that is anything like this, Lampard, maybe Gerrard.
Oh, no. Don't worry, he doesn't rate Lampard either. He heard a report saying he thinks Foden's more talented than Lampard. So anyways, I don't need to hear about the dickhead's opinion ever. Fuck off.
And even like if you were to consider Rodri, right? Because Rodri's the standard for like that position. Rodri doesn't score that many goals either. He doesn't.
That's my point, Marshall. This type of player he's describing doesn't exist. Lampard wasn't this. Lampard was not a controlling type of midfielder because, again, controlling type of midfielders are your Rodriguez, are your Cruces when he was at Madrid, are your Pirlos. Because of where they play on the pitch, they don't fucking score goals. That's like,
I think
that's not possible unless they're hitting six screamers every game. Like,
the closest I would say is Iniesta, probably, that I think of, who because him and Xavi both control, but he's more further forward than Xavi and can score those goals because he scored in finals and stuff. So I would say him being the closest to what he's describing. So that's about it. Zidane, you could also say. So maybe mention 5 people in the history of football.
I'll say you're also talking about some of the greatest football players. Never mind midfielders. Talking about some of the greatest football players ever to play football. So yes, as of what are we? The 8th of October, when he's 23 years old or 22, whatever he is. No, Caicedo's not one of the best midfielders in ever to have played football. Great, fantastic. I'm glad we've come to that conclusion.
And then he prefers Declan Rice. Dude, Declan, okay, if we're going by that, then Enzo scored more than Declan Rice last season. What the fuck are you on?
Yeah, he publicly came out and said he prefers Declan Rice, right?
Yes.
Maybe, but he doesn't control football games. That's why, funnily enough.
He said he prefers Declan Rice more.
Ironically enough.
It's only Neville
who's back. Style is a weird
one.
Him not controlling games is the reason he doesn't play 6 anymore.
Yeah. Uncomfortable conversations, right?
Marshall, it's okay. It makes perfect sense why this dickhead was getting benched when he was in the England squad for Lampard and Gerrard, so he can shut the fuck up. That's why he was relegated to playing a left mid when the other two were playing center mids. Yeah, in the 4-2-2. Yeah, you can fuck off with this shit takes.
Yeah, and honestly, like, it's what you guys said before too. Even like, I say Lampard, I say it hesitantly because even Lampard, like, I don't think he was back there really controlling the midfield. That was usually, he always had like a Makalele. He always had like an Essien back there that would do that. You know, Ballack even. Like, he was always attack-minded. He could play deep, but usually he was forward, more in an attacking position. So it's such a weird analysis of like, it's always weird when it comes from professionals because it's like, you realize you're living in like a Delulu land, right? Like, there's not, players like this are really a hot commodity.
100%.
Like, even
but like,
Modric wasn't like this.
No, 100% of it. It's like I said, Marshall. Like him saying that Caicedo isn't the best midfielder in the league, or isn't his like, or having the first take. Like, that's cool. I think he's wrong, but
sure, that's at least not reasonable.
Yeah, that's like okay. At the end of the day, it's an opinion, right? I think Arsenal fans are wrong with rights over Caicedo. It's just an opinion. But to then double down with what he said, that what he said afterwards is the stupid bit, because like, you cannot rate Caicedo because he doesn't offer everything you think. Like, I think he's wrong because I think he basically does, but because he doesn't offer everything you like in a midfielder. But no one in world football currently offers what you like in a midfielder based on the second bit. So you just don't like any midfielders. Yeah,
that's essentially how I understand it.
Outside of maybe,
I wish you would have name dropped. Because that would have been great. And even Rodri, like you said, Rodri. I know Ha mentioned it, but Rodri, how many goals did Rodri score when he won the Ballon d'Or? It was like 14, maybe 13 goals. It wasn't that much. Maybe. I really don't know. Rodri.
The most goals he's ever got in a season is 8.
Yeah, that's not that much. Which is okay because he's a DM. I don't expect him to have that many goals, but he had clutch goals. You know, it's really silly. It's really silly. I think Ha also brought up something else here. You're missing the fact that Scholes said Caicedo played 38 games last season and he doesn't do anything not long ago. Oh, that's true. He did slander him last season too. This is his damage control because everyone is seeing how good Caicedo is. Yeah, a lot of people have been getting called out because of their Caicedo takes. Some people have come out and apologized. Other people are doubling down, you know. Obviously, Jimmy Carragher, also another one that said he prefers Declan Rice over Caicedo. Listen, I do think there are certain things that Declan Rice, and this is me stretching really because I don't even really believe it.
I know what
I
you're going to
do-
say. There isn't a single thing Rice does better than Caicedo. I'll say it.
Maybe free kicks. That's it. I mean,
Oh, good
even ball
point.
progression, like, yeah, Rice does it more often, but Caicedo can do it too. And he did it for the goal. Like, he dribbled past McAllister with the 1-2 with Gusto, and then progresses the ball up the field to space to take the shot. Like, what are we saying? And I love how Arsenal fans come out and said, like, oh yeah, well, if, you know, they showed the fucking howler that, you know, Sanchez had against Arsenal where Declan Rice takes a shot, and they come out and said, oh yeah, if Caicedo does this, he would break his knee. And I'm like, motherfucker, he actually literally scored from halfway line. What are we doing? Just it's such stupid agendas. But I also want to go back to this goal. This is typical Maresca ball. And it was so brilliant to see. CP, did you have any thoughts on this?
On the goal?
Or what we talked about before? But yeah, the goal.
Yeah, no, the funny thing about the Declan Rice is, like, the most he scored in the Prem is 7 in 38 games, which is funny because that's literally yeah, and he had 9 assists. I'm like, if Jackson wasn't so wasteful, it's literally you're giving me Enzo Fernandez then.
Yeah,
it's funny enough. And besides this goal, yeah, like, great teamwork, all around. Not gonna lie. As you were saying,
Caicedo's pass was incredible, by the way. I think Caicedo's pass was incredible. That was really overlooked. He does that pass all the time. By the way, people, for those of you who do not watch Caicedo, he does it often. It's not the first time I've seen that reverse pass. It was a brilliant pass.
I just really wish, aside from this goal,
Sure.
that the Reece James cutter to Gittins amounted to a goal. I wish that was, so that could be in highlights, because that ball was ridiculous, by the way. But yeah, like, great overall goal. I was gonna say Enzo. No, sorry. Esteval's the 2 goals he scored for us have been these
Back post ones.
Back post goals, yeah, because Leverkusen and this were both the same. So great awareness. We need someone to score these back post tap in goals, like, you know, prime Raheem Sterling in a sense, right? Because if Pedro Neto had a brain of running the back post, you know how many goals he could have scored. So I mean,
he's usually the one giving that cross too, to be fair, and no one ever finds his inverted cross. Like, it was a breath of fresh air when we saw João Pedro do it, but now that he's been more centralized in that 9 position, doesn't have those liberties.
No power.
Yeah, it's like he's kind of stuck in the middle instead of making that far post run. But it's good to see that Esteval is doing it. And I'll be honest, and I think I know what you guys are going to say, but, like, I think for me, this earmarks Esteval should be starting every game. I'm sorry. I know he's 18. People are worried about the inexperience and, he needs to. No, this kid's ready. Like, you saw what he did when we were looking for that winner. He was going back there, winning the ball back around this pitch, making runs, taking shots, testing the keeper, creating. I mean, to be fair, he could have had an assist as well with Enzo Fernandez if he, scores a header. This kid comes in and makes a difference, and I don't want to be Palmer FC anymore, right? Like, I think we have a good enough squad that at any day it can be Moy that carries a team. Sometimes Enzo can step up. Sometimes Reece James steps up. And I want Esteval to be in that list as well. I mean, I'm sure you guys agree.
Yeah, like, I think I even told you this at the beginning of or even before the beginning, in terms of, I was like, I need him to be starting 11 after the October international break, which is literally what's happening. So yeah, I think he's ready. He's good enough. He should start. I'm sorry, I don't want to do this bench super sub thing, because people are going to be like, look at how Pep handled Phil Foden. Okay, and I can give you fucking Yamal. There's always two sides to the coin. I'm not saying he's right now Yamal, but there's always two sides to a coin.
The Pep Phil Foden thing is a dumb comparison because the reason why he didn't play more minutes than he did or didn't start sooner than he did is because he had
Then
both De Bruyne
Mahrez.
and Silva playing ahead of him.
And
So it's like-
Mahrez also plays on the right. Like, brother, what are you gonna do against like?
Yeah,
three
true, but like when he
people
came through, he was a
that
10. Like when he came through, he was a 10. So he was
10,
you thought he was gonna play midfield. He only went to the wing when he literally couldn't get game time in midfield because again it was De Bruyne and Silva playing ahead of him. So like that, for me, that's a dumb comparison. The other thing for me as well, and I've made this point before, and I will make it again, is like if we're doing this youth project, and like you're looking to the future and looking to have a bunch of these players in a position where they can excuse me, they can like challenge for a title together, then play the young players now, right? Like play your Estavals, play your Achampongs, play your that's kind of it to be honest at the moment, but play these guys because in a year or two's time when we need to be challenged for this league, like we need to be challenging now really, but like with what their plan is, we need to be challenging in a couple of years. These are the kids that are going to be doing it. Like respectfully, none of the other three wingers we've got currently, if they continue at either the same level they're currently playing at, are going to be here or are going to start for that team. Like Garnacho is not going to start for a title challenging team if he continues playing the way he's playing. Same with Gittins. Same to an extent with Neto, and I think Neto has actually been decent so far this season. But he is 27. In 2 years' time, he's 20. In 2 years' time, he's 29. And I'll be honest, he's not performing to a level where he's undroppable at this point either. And we've got Quenda coming in next season.
Yeah, they're
so play this kid now so that he is a guaranteed starter and is at the level where we can challenge for a league title. Same thing with Achampong. He should be starting every week in defense. Like Tosin, I don't need to see you anymore. Chalobah, I don't need to see you anymore. You're not going to be here in 2 years. So why do I give a shit?
Well, Tosin, if it's like an Everton, if it's a physical side, no offense.
No, even then, I don't need to see him play. Like he's not going to be here in a year's time at this point.
Yeah, but we still need specific players at times for specific games. So I will play him in those specific games where he's needed. But
no,
yes, week in, week out, we're not doing this. We need someone who's good. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, CP, I agree with you. I was going to say, if he's fit, I'm just going to play Badiashile ahead of him. I'll be honest. He fits the physical thing. Form-wise, there's no at this point.
It's just one game, though. That's the thing. He's performed well one game. I'm just a little hesitant.
No, I agree. No, I'm saying even at Badiashile's worst, I'm saying it's no worse than what we've seen from Colwell from Tosin this season.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, like to be honest, if Badiashile's still not fit enough for the first game against, Nottingham Forest, I would play Hato again. The 2 times he's subbed on for left center back, he's done well. He's done pretty well, and they complement each other well.
I can't complain too much about him. Yeah,
because they're both in a sense left backs / right backs who can play center backs. They both drove with the ball because Hato had that run similar to Josh on either side. They're both comfortable with their feet. They're both agile. They can cover wide spaces because of their experience in fullback positions. I don't mind it.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning more towards what Scott's saying. Obviously, I need to have the balance, and it needs to be a transition, right? And when these players eventually become senior players, I would like to see any youngsters brought in, after the fact, get a little bit of minutes and then eventually get into the starting role. I do think this season we won't see Josh in every game, but we'll see Josh in more games than we saw him last season.
I disagree.
I want to say like at least double the amount of games, not even triple.
How many did he play last season?
He didn't play that much.
The reason I disagree, Marshall, is because I don't disagree from a perspective. He might play more games. I don't think it's going to be based on he's ready for more games sort of thing. I think the only reason he plays more games is because of injuries, unfortunately. I think if people are fit these last few games, he doesn't make anywhere near the amount of minutes that he's played so far.
He played 4 games of the Prem last season, so fairs. He's already at 3.
Yeah, I could see him playing 10 games.
7 games in the Conference League, yeah.
In the Prem, right? 10 games in the Prem. Actually, I could even see him playing anywhere from 12 to 15 games. Because although I agree with Scott, to an extent, he's playing right now because of injuries, but I do think there's going to be a lot of rotation because upcoming after this international break, Nottingham Forest, Ajax, Sunderland, Wolves in the cup. Then you got Spurs coming up as well. Like there's a lot of games coming thick and fast. I do think there is going to be a lot of rotation that happens, or at least like what we talked about before, right? Where it was like there's going to be one pair, right? Which is going to be, for example, Badiashile and Josh for maybe the beginning of, I don't know. Let me reverse that. Maybe that pairing can be for the Premier League, and then Fofana and maybe Hato or Tosin are the pairing for Champions League. And then you just rotate those pairings, because I also don't want to chop and change, because then these center backs are never going to get used to playing with one another in a team. And that's going to be detrimental to us. So I see where Scott's coming from. I could see Acheampong getting at least 15 games this season, and I'll even go as far as say like 15
I genuinely
starts.
hope he does. Because the ironic thing about all of this, right? The funniest thing about all this to me is in another world, he's starting for the team that are currently. Let me just have a little look at the Premier League table. Fourth in the league.
Who's fourth in the league? Oh, Bournemouth?
Fourth.
Yeah, and he was linked to Bournemouth, yeah.
Yeah, like in because they were going to play him centre back, based on all reports we heard at least. So in another world, he's starting every week for thingy.
Ariola.
So it's like,
Yeah.
if he was good enough to start for Bournemouth on a regular basis, and I'll be honest, I don't really think right now, at least, our centre backs are performing to the level of Bournemouth centre backs. I think that's quite obvious. There's no reason why he shouldn't be able to start regularly for our team. It's not even like a what's it called, like a mentality thing or a pressure thing, because the rest of our centre backs are playing like shit, and he's actually like, we know he can perform. We've seen him perform at this level for us. Like, he was really good last season. And in the games we've seen, he's been in, especially in the Prem, of those 4 games, in 3 of them he's been very good. The only one he hasn't been good in, you can understand why he wasn't good, because positionally he came in in the middle of a back 3, which he's only ever played, I think, once prior to that game. Number 2, game states. He came into that game in the 60-something minute against a team that was high pressing when we were down to 10 men, and we took all our outlets off. So of course he's going to be put under pressure, and yes, he made mistakes, especially that one for the Welbeck goal, the third one, but I'm not surprised he made those mistakes.
We were all playing like shit that game anyways, to be fair. So like, it never helps any youth player to go into a team where everyone's not on it. Like, and I think Maresca mentioned this, or someone mentioned this for the Liverpool game, for example. I think a lot of what helped Benoit and Josh work so well is that, look at who's surrounding them. You have Caicedo, you have Cucurella, you have James. They're not the only ones that defend. They defend as a team. Enzo Fernandez also, if you want to include him in there, because he'll drop from time to time. And Malo was trying to defend as best he could in the midfield as well, with the man marking and all that. That adds to it, right? In that Brighton game, all those players were shit. All of them. And so, like, yeah, no shit. Like, when your team is playing like shit, you're probably going to play like shit too. Like, it just drags everyone down, even the best players. So I am curious to see, because right now, like, Benoit was very impressive when he made his cameo, when his return. He's also been he was very impressive during that Liverpool game. Apparently he's being rested precautionary, but I'm curious to see what Benoit we get, and fingers crossed he stays fit, what Benoit we get this season, because it looks like Maresca really, really likes him a lot. Hence why he started in that Conference League final, played him in Club World Cup. Both times had to come off with injury. So Maresca rates him, and at his best, he looks like what he looked like against Liverpool. But I need to see more games to be convinced that, like, okay, we're going to be all right with Benoit. Okay, let's move on to a little bit of a different topic because I wanted to bring up this as a matter of I feel like we should be a little bit more concerned now. And it's not like surprising. We all stated this. We all predicted this to happen. And I'm sure you guys are going to agree, but you probably know where I'm going to go with this. Recently, Arsenal have announced that they're going to be upgrading their stadium. And this is pretty much the news from the Telegraph. Arsenal officials have studied the expansion of Real Madrid's now 83,000 capacity Bernabeu Stadium at a cost of more than £1 billion. That included a retractable roof and a 360-degree LED scoreboard, as well as multifunctioning subterranean pitch storage, which I think that's really cool. The aim at Arsenal would be to also produce a multifunctional and digital first stadium. It was noticeable that Arsenal passed up the chance to host matches at the Euro 2028 during the summer when subject to planning and permissions financings and financing changes could conceivably be underway. Tom Overend Twitter profile mentioned this. Arsenal looking to expand the Emirates to above 70,000 capacity. I know how difficult the situation is and it'll take time, but Chelsea need to act on the stadium as soon as possible. Matchday revenue is more important than ever, and 42,000 is simply not sufficient anymore. Do you guys, let me ask just to get a feeler for the panel. Do you guys believe that the matchday revenue makes a big difference?
Yes. It's not obviously the biggest it's not the biggest income, like level of income that you get. That's obviously like sponsorships and TV money and stuff, and like earnings and winning. But it's a good way of like subsidizing yourself as well. And ultimately it's like it's another way to help certain things in terms of like, so I spoke about this, I think on Lewis's show, like the other day, Lewis's stream the other day, where it's like, we're in a position where we want to improve the what's it called? The atmosphere at stadiums. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, I think you do that through getting a younger audience in. The issue you've got is, and it's a cycle and a double-edged sword. Because of the issues at the stadium, ticket prices and season tickets have to go up. The people being able to afford season ticket prices and tickets and whatnot are an older people because earning more money, cost of living and everything nowadays. So it's easier for them. So they're then the ones going to games. Annoyingly, though, they're also members of the Chelsea pitch owners who are the ones stopping us from getting a bigger stadium. So it's the older people stopping us from stopping us from getting a bigger stadium, which means then we have to raise ticket prices, which means it's the older people that go typically. So then, our atmosphere sucks. So all these things are all linked together. And it's just like, we do need to expand, obviously, because we just need to, because it is going to help as well. Plus, as well, it means that it should mean that there aren't quite as many other not cost cutting, but selling every player or this, that, and the other. Like, it will help.
Well, one would hope,
One would hope, but it's just. At the end of the day, I think, regardless of how much money we do get, more money is good, right? In any walk of life. So, it needs to happen. Like I said, it's just, I don't know when or if it's ever going to happen at this point, to be honest.
You know what it is for me? Like, I read this on the timeline, right? And I just felt embarrassed, to be honest, as a Chelsea fan, that Arsenal already moved to another stadium that was more capacity than ours. And even they're realizing, we should probably expand on this more. Like, if stadium, because, and I'm saying this because I know some of you in my comments are probably going to say like, oh, stadium revenue is a myth. These owners are just greedy, and there's like, no, there's a reason to believe that they do what they do, right? Because, you know, we'll talk about it briefly, but like front of shirt sponsorship, there's no income coming from that, right? There's also no income, or not sufficient income, coming from the tickets that are being sold at the bridge, because for one, it's too small of a capacity. I actually looked over the numbers for attendance records at the bridge last season, and for the most part, every single Stamford Bridge ticket, like I'm talking like 90% of the home games, were sold out. Every time, barring Club World Cup, when it's an international friendly for whatever reason, every time Chelsea come to the US, sold out. If not sold out, over 80,000 in attendance, or 70,000. So right there, you're missing on a potential 30,000x on ticket sales, which, when you do the math, it's a lot of money you're leaving on the table for match day revenue. You have 20 home games in a regular league season, right? Am I wrong in that? No, I'm not. Yes. No, 19. So you have 19 home games. 19 times out of those home games, you're missing on 30,000 times the amount of revenue you could make. It adds up season after season, and it gives you more of that cushion, with, especially right now with this stupid FFP and how the rules are set up with finances and clubs. Like, I do feel, part of me feels, and again, this is like, time will tell if they actually change and do this. I do feel like if we had a bigger stadium, maybe some of those players that we want, the names and stuff, maybe they would bring in one or two of those like established names, because maybe we could fit it into our FFP budget, so on and so forth.
No.
Time will tell, but like, I would like to believe that maybe they move a little differently.
Sorry, I don't get this comment by full-time football. I'm so welcome to the channel, but I think this is the stupidest take in a long time. You're telling me the ownership, no matter how they spend the money, spend almost 2 billion on players, is not going to put the money for a new stadium?
No, to be fair, I don't, and feel free to correct me if what I'm saying is wrong. Because I actually understand, if he's saying what I think he's saying, I think he means in terms of upgrading the current
You mean Stamford Bridge?
If that's what he's saying, I agree.
I hope
because
so,
because this has been talked about previously, where I think we can go up to like 55 or 60,000 and stay at Stamford Bridge. That would be the limit. My thing is like, that's dumb, because in a couple years' time, you're going to have to move that's going to be too small in a couple years' time, because unfortunately things are just building. Like, Arsenal are now trying to build the biggest stadium in London. That means it's going to be over 70,000. That's going to be over 70,000.
Yeah.
Luton, I know it's a smaller league, but Luton are trying to build a bigger stadium. I would not be surprised if other clubs like Brentford, down the line, if they can afford it.
Everton's new stadium in terms of capacity?
60. It's bigger than ours. It's bigger than ours.
Everyone's bigger than ours, Mark.
Ours is now the 10th biggest stadium in the league.
Yeah,
actually, it might be 11th.
It's 11th now because of Everton.
Yeah, I think because of Sunderland getting promoted and Everton, the increase, I think ours is now 11th, the 11th biggest stadium in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a good actually analogy. Yeah. It's like fixing an old house when you know you're moving to a new, bigger house.
Yeah, it's like maintenance on anything, right? The older it gets, the more money it's going to cost for the maintenance, right? For the old parts and maintaining it and upkeep and all that, right? So, right, it's like getting a new car or an old car. Like, you're going to pay more for the checkups and everything. But, hey, this is all about investment, right? Like, I mean, is the pitch owners. That's what it is. It's all about having your say. Right?
To give you an idea, by the way, and this was a while ago, and obviously this isn't. I'm just giving you rough numbers. I've managed to find. I was trying to do a little bit of research of like how much people are making from like match day revenue. in 23-24 last season. The season before last. The Premier League as a whole made £1 billion from matchday revenue, which was a sixth of all revenue generated. So I think the Premier League as a totality raised about 6 billion or made
Fucking Christ.
So about a sixth of that was from matchday revenue. This is from 22-23. Manchester United made the most money per game from revenue so they were getting about 74,000 fans on average a game.
Yeah.
They made just under 4 million a game.
Oh shit.
A home game.
And then what? 4 million times 19.
It's 74.5 million.
And
that's potentially, so we're missing out, or not missing out, but like I don't know what the difference is. I can't be fucking bothered to work it out.
If I had to simplify it, it's probably like half of that.
But it's like you're actually no, I can do that. Hold on a second. 2. Oh no, you nearly. So yeah, we are losing out on 35 million
a year.
A year. That's just on matchday revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, that's back in 22-23, so it could have gone up since then because everything is. Yeah. So you're telling me we're missing out on, let's just say, £40 million a year. Yeah.
And imagine that, imagine in an ideal world.
Marshall, you said earlier, that's like an extra signing. That's slightly bigger wages on a guy, and then we don't have to worry about FFP. We don't have to sell a player for FFP or for whatever.
But imagine this: that's extra £40 million a year. Plus, on top of that, imagine if we had a shirt sponsor. Let's say the shirt sponsor was 40.
Clubs, yeah.
80. That's £80 million a year that you're just leaving on the table. But I'm supposed to believe it doesn't make that big of a difference? No, it makes a huge difference.
You see, Marshall, I like my enclosed space, right? Because then we get less international fans, and I get to meet my local lads. You know, so to be honest, why would I, as a Chelsea pitch owner, do that to myself?
Yeah, Pels. What I'm trying to get at is that we could get ideally both, and be
we should have both.
Pretty well
the front of shirt sponsor, I would say, is completely different, and that's just like it's just an embarrassment at this point. Like genuinely,
this is greedy at this point.
It's not. No, it's not greedy. I just want. Are we gonna? I don't suppose you do have a topic on the front of shirt sponsor.
Let's do it right now, right here. It's right here. Here we go. So yeah, front of shirt sponsor. Kieran Maguire said this, right? That the price that Chelsea have been quoting to sponsor has been one where that everybody else has walked out the door. It's the case that just getting that deal to get both parties, Chelsea fervently believe that having won the Premier League in 2016, which has nothing to do with this Chelsea team now, and therefore becoming world champions in 2025, that the value of the club is significantly higher than what would appear to be the case from an advertiser's perspective. I'll give you the Club World Cup thing, but I don't know where the fucking Premier League 2016 thing comes from. That's
10 years. 10 years ago. 2017, 2016, 17. Anyways, it's almost 10 years. We're 9 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's 9 years ago by the end of the season.
It's such a weird. I would love to hear why. If this is true, I would love to hear why.
Also, okay, if we go with this bullshit excuse if we go with this bullshit excuse of them winning the Club World Cup, increasing the pricing. So what the fuck were you quoting even before we won the club? What about last season, before we won the Club World Cup? So what you were basing it off 50, the 2016 price of us winning in 2016? How much would that be then?
I have
it's your fault, Mark.
I have multiple things to say about this. The first thing to say is it's genuinely fucking embarrassing at this point.
Yeah, no, it's just
it's fucking embarrassing. Like you talk about leaving money on the table. Like, go and get a front of shirt sponsor. At this point, it doesn't matter who it is. You're leaving money on the table. I'd rather have 20 million than nothing. So do you want to sort yourself out? This is the one element. The football stuff, like, they need to fix, right? And then some of it is good, some of it's bad. But like, at least I can use the excuse of they're learning on the job. They don't really know about football. This is your element. You're fucking businessman.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the shit you're meant to be good at. And 3 years in a row, you're failing when it comes to front shirt sponsors.
And let's be
I haven't
honest,
got the excuse
Scott,
of no Champions League.
It's not like, I guarantee you they were given offers of 40 million a year, but they're just holding on to the 60
They were trying to get 50 last year, and the only sticking point was no Champions League. So that was the only sticking point of getting 50 mil last year. So unless they're asking for 80 to 100 mil, which is fucking ludicrous if they are, because no one's sponsoring you for that much. See, I'm sorry, this is embarrassing. The second thing I'll add as well is like, what was I say? Oh yeah, what was the point? Actually, there's 2 points to this because of what we keep getting told. Number one is why don't you just keep the Mac on?
Because I think apparently, I don't remember the source I got it from, but apparently Damac only was willing to offer 40. And another thing on your point too, last year if you wanted 50, I also guarantee you probably got 50 a year, but you're sticking. The current number that is rumored is that they want 60 million a year for a front shirt sponsor. So they upped their price. So now you're getting prices for what you wanted last year. I would have just stuck with it. Like, listen, I get it. This is money that's going to be there for 3-4 years, but it's not like you can't renegotiate like once the contract is done and then get the 60 when you've proven like, oh, we're going to be in Champions League consistently. Oh, we won the Prem. Oh, we won this cup and this and that. Like, I get advertisers are going to be hesitant because of what happened to Chelsea in the last 3 years.
The other point I wanted to make as well is I like how we went, by the way, and I made this point in the past, it's not a new point, but I like how we went from being told in the summer that the reason, I think it wasn't the summer, the reason for the whole Damac thing, or after the Mac thing, was they wanted 2 front of shirt sponsors. That's why we didn't keep Damac on for the Club World Cup, is because they wanted one for the Club World Cup and one for the Premier League. You failed to get one for the Club World Cup. You just failed miserably. We didn't have one for the Club World Cup. And now we've got none and it's October. So my thing is as well is like, and I get like, this is a little bit of ignorance on my part because I don't quite know how the contracts fully work. But let's say, for example, right, you go, we're going to give you 60 mil a year or for a season. Does that go down if you get a sponsor in the middle of a season? Like, so say, for example, I get a sponsor halfway through the season and I was going to get 60 mil for the season for a year. Does that mean because I've missed half a year, I only get 30 for that year?
Yeah.
Again, like I said, it's a bit of ignorance on my part because, like, if someone has an understanding of that side of things with business, maybe I'm just thinking of it really simply.
I think the Mac last season, because of the deal we had with them, where it was like, what, eight? No, maybe not 8. It was a certain amount of million per game.
And it was a million a game. It was a million games.
It was a million games. So we got 8 million plus Conference League games in there too. Like maybe I don't know. We got 8 million
just
out of it.
For the Prem, I think it was 6 million because it was literally at the end.
Yeah.
If what Has said is true and what I'm saying, you signed for the time period. So you're going to get to a point where you can't even get the 60 mil you asked for because no one's going to pay 60 mil for you for 6 months of a year because you've waited too goddamn long. Like, and this is, by the way, I know I'm kind of rambling. It's just because this shit pisses me off. It pissed me off in the summer. And I remember you and me, Marshall, had a conversation and you said, I'm going to wait and see. And I think we said we're going to wait until like October or November and then it will get to a point where it's a disgrace.
Yeah.
But it's like you sacked whoever it was previously, or you didn't keep. I don't know if they actually sacked him or he just left by mutual consent. There was a guy we had who was chief finance officer who left.
Jurassic, and then there's other people.
Was it Jurassic who left, or was it Jurassic who's come in? Regardless, whatever way around it is, you had someone. Might have been Jurassic, might not have been Jurassic. He left. You got someone in. Might have been Jurassic, might not have been Jurassic. Both of them fucking failed at their job. So you're evidently really shit at hiring a chief finance officer. You're evidently really shit at hiring people who understand how to get sponsorship deals. Which is again. We talk about
Scott.
No,
I
it's
think
that
it's
because,
just
like,
unreasonable what they're asking
no,
for.
Marshall. They seem completely, and by they I mean the ownership group. Like they seem completely incompetent at being able to hire people who know how to negotiate. Our sporting directors have no idea how to negotiate, and the chief finance officer they have has no idea how to negotiate because they're fucking failing at their job.
Sorry, I just had a. We don't have to be fucking rude. We're talking about topics.
I don't care. People
We're a passionate fan. No, but that's just being rude now. At that point, it's just like really like. I literally have him here to talk about Chelsea, and you're just telling him to shut the fuck up. Like, come on now, have some manners. At least say hello before you tell someone to shut the fuck up.
At least say hello. Okay.
But it's like I remember we had this discussion, and I think what expedited it for me now, where I'm at the point where I'm at with it, is that you're hearing now about the guys that are in charge of it losing their job, leaving. You know, the guys that now we're hearing the offers that we're getting on the table all leave immediately once they hear the price figure. Like, this is all like telling me like, okay, this isn't going to happen. I'm ready to jump into the conclusion that we're going to go into another season where we're not going to have a front of shirt sponsor unless something comes up towards the tail end, like a Damac again. And at this point, now it's getting ridiculous because although I don't care for the finances, at the end of the day, if Chelsea feel that they can get away with it, they know something about the finances that we don't. But the one thing I can blatantly see is that there's money being left on the table that could be used towards our revenue, towards FFP, as far as I understand from the finances. So this, from a fan's point of view, it's just looks like you're just restricting us from being able to do more in the upcoming windows when, you know, we'll see how the season goes on and how it ends. But I'm sure at the end of the season, we're going to look at our team and be like, okay, we need to correct some of these things and we need to go out in the market. I'm not going to sit here and just blindly think that, oh, this team is perfect. Like, we're going to be totally fine and there's going to be no flaws. Everything's covered at the end of the season. We need to make minimal transfers. No, I'm sure there's going to be transfers we're going to need to make.
I'm just having a look here, by the way. Number one, we are the only Premier League club without a front of shirt sponsor.
Yeah.
I was trying to find out if we're the only club in world football, and I thought it said we're the only football club, but it said Premier League. The second thing is apparently, and again, this is according to Google and a little bit of AI, apparently we're looking for 60 to 65 million.
That's
Apparently, by the way, well, according to this, we're not even sponsored by Infinite Athlete anymore. That expired at the end of last season.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. No,
Fantastic.
Is there a sleeve sponsor?
No, they were our kids.
They were the training
sponsor.
Yeah.
What are the... So we are currently one of 8 teams in Europe's top 5 leagues without a front of shirt sponsor.
Oh.
We are by far and away the biggest team without a front of shirt sponsor. The only other team I'd say is comparable is Roma or Lazio. Outside of that, we are, one of 8 teams.
Yeah. I just think, like, I'm not going to sit here because I remember when we were initially talking about this last season, I think a lot of people in their head had this idea of, like, you could just take a small deal and do that for 10. It's like, okay, that's all willy-nilly in an ideal world hypotheticals, right? Now it's different. Now, I guarantee you've gotten... Now that you won the Club World Cup and did everything you did last season, finished top 4, you're back in Champions League, you won the Club World Cup, you won the Conference League, rated or not, whatever. Chelsea advertised themselves to the world in the summer. I know for a fact at least you had options that came in for 50 or 45. There must have been.
I'm pretty sure the Riyadh Air or Qatar Air, one of the two, I can't remember, was 50.
Yeah.
The one that we reportedly agreed upon in January, but I think that was dependent on us getting Champions League. What happened to that? Like, how come that fell through? I don't understand how, if we got 40 for Infinite Athlete when we finished 12th, how you couldn't then get 50 for finishing Champions League, and win the Club World Cup. I think the bigger thing for me, and kind of to Gabriel's point, is it's not so much the finances in terms of like the business stuff I care about. It's not even really Oh, Joey, thank you for letting me know. They're fantastic, wonderful. So they said, let me focus on my point. It's not so much the side that I care about. It's not even so much the perception of like I mentioned there, like the 8 clubs that don't have a thing. I don't really care about that in the grand scheme of things. People can probably clown on us and it does look bad. I don't care about that bit. It's what we discussed earlier, Marshall. It's the fact of like 60 million. If we get 60 million or 50 million, that's potentially then a Fermin Lopez instead of a Buenanotte. That's potentially we can keep Jackson in this team. We don't have to get rid of him to make money.
Yeah.
To clear this thing. That's potentially, or never mind, we can get rid of Jackson, but we sign a Maignan this window as opposed to next summer window.
It's just like we're not
certain
running on
things
all cylinders.
Yeah, it means you like, or you can maybe sign a Maignan, or like, it means you can affect the team on the pitch. To like actually like get players, you know.
And by the way, I need to just also emphasize this. It's not like us on the panel are saying like, oh, if we can get the shirt sponsor and we can get the bigger stadium, then we can go out and get players like Lewandowski and this and that. Like, no, it's not that. But we know what these owners want, what the directors want. They want to build a young team and stuff. It at least gives you leeway to maybe build the team a little better and not neglect certain things, like, for example, center back this season, right? Or even the goalkeeper situation. If you are running on such a tight budget, maybe you have more liberties to get the Maignan that you're rumored to get. Like, it's not like I'm not deluded enough to think like, oh, we could have gotten Mbappe or something like that, or Frankie de Jong. Like, no, it gives you more leeway to work with the project and actually build the squad instead of right now where we're seeing there are deficiencies in the squad.
I think from what I can see, by the way, just to answer Joe's question, I'm pretty sure that sponsorship deals are taken into UEFA's consideration in terms of like the financial fair play thing. See, I'm just having a look here because there's certain things that don't, like the women's team, for example. That's why we couldn't register that.
And mind you, like,
but so like
it's go ahead, Scott.
It's like I said, it's just it's just leaving money on the table at the end of the day. Like we may end up talking about it later when we're going to have to end up seeing players in this team who most of the fan base do not think should be playing here in the first place, and the reason they're here is because we couldn't get you couldn't afford someone better in their place. It's stuff like the reason why. Ultimately.
Yeah. Well, again, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope something is around the corner, but I just have this feeling we're going to go another season without a front of shirt sponsor, and it's just going to be, again, why are we doing this? Why are we shooting ourselves in the foot? At this point, I think everyone would understand and be totally reasonable to just take on a 40 million or 45 million a year sponsorship right now. Do it for 3 years, 2 years, 4 years. You know, obviously don't lock yourself in for 6 years, right? But something that at least it gives you time for your club to establish itself in the global level, which then you can justify. And it's kind of like what Taji's saying here. The money they want for front of shirt sponsor comes from continued success, not just one season. And I think it's valid. It's valid. I think advertisers think of it that way too. Oh, how do I know you're not going to crash out of the Champions League? Oh, how do I know you're going to maintain top 4 in the Prem? Like all these things, like we only saw you do it once, right? Even though statistics seem to support that you're trending upwards, football is not always linear either. So it's one of those situations where hold on to a sponsorship for 3-4 years, prove that you can get the 60. And then once a sponsorship deal is done, negotiate 60, 65, whatever you want, and you'll probably have more leeway and more more leeway to prove it and to really enforce your argument. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's an
The
interesting
other thing I wanted to
situation.
say as well, and like I said, I apologize. I keep like rambling, and then people
You're fine, dude.
make comments in the chat, and it's like it makes me think about something else.
Mm-hmm.
What in life No Limit says as well is like I think that's what makes it like part of it makes it worse. Like one of the first interviews that I think Bowley did, or maybe it was Weiss when they came in, was criticizing or not. I don't know if criticizing the right word, but talking about how like Roman didn't always like make the most out of the financial aspects of the club. You're failing worse than he did. So like all of that talk when you came in about how he's not making the most out of the financial aspects, and you're doing nothing. Like you've failed, like I said, for multiple years. So yeah, like it's just it's like I said, it's just unfortunate looks when it comes to this kind of short sponsor for certain things. Not that I massively care. It's just like I understand how it can look to other people.
Yeah, 100%. Speaking of other things in terms of the club, this has also been a talking point that I wanted to bring up. I think I think people don't want to admit that some things work because they just don't like change. And I'll be honest, I'm one of those people that oftentimes I'm not a fan of change. Sometimes you got to force me through it, and then I become more open to it. So I can be stubborn. I get that, but you can't deny the truth either. And it's some of the changes that are happening at the bridge that people have been discussing, and I'm sure you guys know where I'm going with this. All right, let's discuss some of the tweets that I've seen. So we'll start with this one. The Athletic reporting that on goal music, a source at Chelsea, the club are trying different features to enhance the match atmosphere and attract the next generation of fans while still respecting club traditions. Going to this one, sources spoken to by The Athletic anticipated that not everyone would like the changes made to enhance the atmosphere. Funny enough, yeah, most people are going to anticipate that. A lot of match-going fans have not liked. Has there been a single change since the ownership group came on that we've heard overwhelming support for?
From a stadium perspective, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. What's up, CP?
Can I be honest? I don't like the music thing either, because from the TV, when we scored the goal against Liverpool, the one thing I love about this club is when we score amazing goals, we can hear the gate smashing. And I couldn't hear that because I heard this fucking shit music. I've been looking for, even I told my friends who I was with at the pub, I'm like, I can't wait to go back home and look at videos of us scoring the goal and listening to the gate smashing. And all I'm hearing is this fucking song. That's literally the best thing about this that I love when we score goals.
That's I think the worst bit about it, because I've said before, I don't mind the idea of goal music. I think it can be done very successfully. I think Bayern Munich do it very successfully. There are a bunch of teams in MLS who do it successfully. I think there's more teams in the Bundesliga. I know Bayern Munich is the famous one. So it can be done successfully. I think the choice of song is actually quite good as well. It makes sense. The thing that was the most annoying, and I don't know whether it came through or it was the same in-game, but when you listen to TV, it's too goddamn loud. It's too loud.
And
it kicks in
right after.
I agree.
It kicks in like basically straight away as well. And like you need to give a level of like, let the fans cheer and react to it, wait a little bit, and then play it.
Yeah, exactly. Just wait 10 seconds. Let me just hear let me as a fan, if I can't be at the bridge, let me hear that like audio and then play the song. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I agree with you guys. I think it was very overpowering. It was very noticeable, for one. Like, there's plenty of matches that, for example, Bayern, like, every time Bayern scored, they play that one song. I forget what the song is, right?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, they play that German song, and it doesn't come on immediately. I think it's also Dortmund does it. It doesn't come on immediately. You give a moment for the crowd and the atmosphere to really like swell up, and then once it kind of like it seems to be dying down a little bit, then you play it to keep that going, right? Maybe finish these tweets real quick. But also felt the reaction in the stadium suggested that people enjoyed the music, but those fans the Athletic spoke to disagree. Obviously, they're it's just people being stubborn. The Stamford Bridge. A Chelsea source told the Athletic they are looking to try and attract the next generation of fans, which I think is the right move to an extent, and I think we discussed that briefly as well. And then this is more of what the Athletic said. The introduction of goal music when Chelsea score at Stamford Bridge has caused a proper kerfuffle with an online petition and plenty of grumbles from supporters. One of their bugbears is that Chelsea Dagger doesn't actually have anything to do with Chelsea Football Club. What songs do have something to do with Chelsea then? In honor of the long contracts they give all their players, how about 8 years by Bjorn Torsk or Bit Niche? Okay, fair enough. This is just sarcasm.
This is just weird, yeah.
Yeah, this is all
Fumble
just
by, yeah, whatever. I don't care. Wow,
Fumble
so
by Trey
funny.
Songs whenever Robert Sanchez. That's another one. Then, fine. Okay, this is all just
some
whatever. Obviously, like over the course of time, you're gonna have to make new songs. So this is just being stubborn again for the sake of being stubborn. Like Chelsea history doesn't have to end where it started. There can be more history. Like based on this logic, then we would never have gotten the David Luiz song. We would never have gotten the Timi Bakayoko song, the Timo Werner song. Like, what do they have to do with Chelsea history? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, their chants, they're different. Like, I don't. My thing is like that. The problem is there are basically no songs that are like linked with what's it called with Chelsea Football Club outside the Liquidator, which gets played before games, or One Step Beyond, which gets played after games, or Madness in general. Like the only other thing they could have potentially done is picked a Madness song, but I don't know what else you can pick outside of One Step Beyond.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would even argue because it was the theme of the Club World Cup, Free From Desire has a little bit more Chelsea history. I wouldn't even mind if that's.
I wouldn't even. I see that so much in England games too. I just think it's an England thing. I wouldn't really say
it is because of the will.
Whenever England player hears that so much.
No, I would get tired of it, but I'm not opposed to the music. I think it does add to the atmosphere. If you watch the celebrations in the stadium, the fans were singing along to the song. But it doesn't bother me. It's just the timing of it and how loud it is.
I was listening to what you were saying last stream. The reason they're gonna sing, which I agree with Scott, is we scored a late winner. I'm sorry, I'm going mad. Whatever the vibe is, I'm gonna match it because we scored a game winner. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really care too much about the song, but you sing like when people sing they're enjoying it. I can't fully. If we play the song and we didn't score a game winner, sure. Like give me more empirical. Like let's find out in Nottingham Forest or whoever we play at home next. Not when we score a game winner. Like everyone's gonna go insane after that, anyways, right? Yeah. So I would say I just need more evidence about that. That's what I'm saying.
I also feel like we all know that the atmosphere at the bridge has always been a problem, and not even just at the bridge. I just feel like in UK in general, and it stems from a lot of historical things. So I don't mind when the club try different things to try to enhance that. At least you're doing something, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And I think this is where I kind of put it back on the supporters, and I don't have as much sympathy with supporters, is because the answer to this, like if you don't like this sort of stuff, two things. One, organize more singing sections or whatnot, or like stuff like that. Or number two, just have a better atmosphere. Like the only reason this kind of stuff is being introduced is because the atmosphere reeks.
Yeah,
and it's Chelsea fans saying that as well.
The manager
I said it on the
the
stream the other day that we did. Like when you've got fans like CB who are going abroad to like the Club World Cup, and this is English fans, by the way, this isn't foreign fans, it's English fans who go to the Club World Cup, experience the atmospheres while out there in America, and then are coming back to the UK, going back to Stamford Bridge and going, yeah, the atmosphere is kind of dead in comparison to how it was out there. Like, the atmosphere kind of stinks. And by the way, most of the stadiums that they're playing in out there are like American football stadiums. They're not designed for football, actual like soccer, quote unquote, crowds and for
Scott,
like that stuff.
But Scott, I remember this. This was a complaint. The Chelsea fans were also shit abroad too. In America, we didn't. It's when we got the Brazilian fans, the Tunisia fans, the culture of fandom, chants, and that they just brought it to America, and that's when like if you're gonna bring a Brazilian or someone from South America or Tunisia, Africa, and all these countries, wherever they are in the world, they're gonna do their thing, right? Other places in Europe too, right? So I just think it's an English club thing.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned it earlier, because
abroad or at home.
I had this discussion with CB, and him being his first tournament and checking out Chelsea abroad, like he was telling me the staunch differences. It's the same thing. Like when I went to games, Chelsea fans are, man, listen, it's a cultural thing. Like it's just English team cultural thing, because us Americans, we're gonna base our chance, or we're gonna base what Chelsea does off of what the original is, like the origin. And if the origin is like it's also gonna be abroad. Like I tried to start so many chants during the games, and people just looked at me funny, and I'm like, damn, this is not just a UK thing. This is
even recently, like Marshall, you notice, like I'm not at the Discord because I'm going to Chelsea pubs. It is so hard for a chant, even when we're fully packed, even for the Liverpool game, unless we literally scored the first goal with Caicedo, and then after that, for a chant to last more than 5 seconds. And then I go to then I go with my friend to a Bayern pub here as well, and they're chanting way more, and I'm like, this is still the same city. I'm literally with another Indian guy who just supported Bayern, so it's not even a cult, like not even a race thing. What's happening?
Yeah, I think it's just a cultural differences that obviously I appreciate a lot of what the Shed-In is doing. I think they're really trying to do everything in their power within whatever restrictions and limits they have to really bolster the atmosphere of the bridge. I really appreciate the work.
I like
they've
the
been doing
singing
in the last
section.
2 or
I
3
do
seasons.
notice it when they do.
I like the singing section.
I appreciate it a lot.
I like the flags that they brought in the first game of the season. The banners, like they have been on it. Like they have been doing the best they can because they recognize there's an issue. And listen, I think, and CB is like in support of this too. And I spoke to him, like there are a section of the fans of Chelsea that just want to lead the line in terms of creating a better atmosphere, not just for Chelsea. I just think in the UK in general. So if we can get to that point without running into the issues of the past, which with hooliganism and all this and that, like I get that's, part of what led to this point. I think it'd be a win-win for everyone. I think the Premier League could really use a bolster in atmosphere and just. It'd be cool. Just especially going to those Brazil games in the summer. It was different. It was like this is crazy. Definitely felt it. Ahmed, do you want to add anything to this discussion before we head to the next one?
Sure. I'm just going to be honest.
Just go to the game. So
I'm just going to be honest with you. You can do whatever you want, whatever you feel like. But I just think at the end of the day, A, it's a cultural thing, and B, clubs specifically in the top 6, no matter what happens, this idea that you're going to able to change the atmosphere, I don't think it's going to be possible. I think there's 2 main reasons because of it. In my personal opinion, there is the tourism aspect of the stadium, and there's the cultural aspects of it. I just think those two things just make it very hard for you to ever be able to change it. I think a good example actually of this is Spurs, for example, right? If you look at Spurs right now, they've got a bigger stadium, they've got more fans. There should be a natural expectation there that right, the atmosphere is going to slightly change now because you're bringing in more. You expect to be bringing in more fans, and also you have a stadium which probably allows you to do some of the stuff that we've mentioned now, but it hasn't really changed that much to what it was before. So I just think for me, it's great. We can try all this stuff. I think the problem more so is just that it's just, I think the cultural argument actually is probably a bit more stronger than I thought. That's an opinion, but that's just the way I see it. And I just think for me, listen, man, guys, it's all well and good. We want to build a stadium and atmosphere, but at the same time, we also need to realize the type of club we are. A lot of these clubs in the top six, I think I think when you're facing a team like let's say, for example, a mid-table team, for example, right? A natural mid-table team out of in there, like Brentford, for example. Now, I know obviously Brentford at home will usually win those games, right? Like, I don't really feel like, fans are going to be expecting us to, I don't think fans themselves are going to be like, oh, let's cheer the team on against Brentford. Because there's already an expectation, A, that we should win that game. I think, if that's like a Saturday 3 p.m., people are coming there. Yes, 1-0. Come on, lads. Come on. 1-0, 2-0 maybe. After that, cut the guys at the end. Great game, guys. That's, I think, the way that people see the game, really, generally, right? Now, yes, you will get exceptions, like maybe against the Liverpool that we saw the other day, where I think the fans were a bit more obviously supporting the team because, of course, the top six side. But I think that some of these other teams that you're going to face, bro, I don't think you're ever going to be able to produce any atmosphere realistically. That's just me, though. So
I do think part of it, like was mentioned in the article, is aimed towards a younger crowd, and I think it's a double-edged sword, because as much as you want to aim towards a younger crowd with the price of tickets going up, you're going to have less and less of that younger crowd just because of what the finances, right? These younger people don't have as great jobs as the older people. And obviously those older people are going to be able to afford the tickets, season tickets, all this and that. So there's that. It's also like, do you guys think that if we did have a bigger stadium, there would be more affordable tickets, or ticket prices would at least be a little more?
I'm going to, no. That's my take. I'll say no, actually. With our current ownership, I would actually make the argument no.
Like even if it
was, you know who I'd actually point to? You know who I'd actually point to that would probably like even back my reason further? Look at Arsenal, for example. When they moved to the new stadium, I think a lot of people were assuming, obviously, going to be a bigger stadium, probably good prices, but some prices are going to be lower than usual, right? Because it's going to allow more fans in, because they moved into 60k stadium back in the day. That did not happen. If you look at Spurs, I'll probably have to double check, but obviously with them, they have a lot more tourists now in their stadium, right? It's more, I think the mixture now is a bit more, what's it called? More tourism to actual. I'm not saying local, not just local fans. I'm saying actual fans. Tourism can. I don't include, when I say tourism, I don't include like the fans from abroad, because I still consider them to be a part of like the actual atmosphere, because they would probably understand the atmosphere. They know the usual stuff anyway. But like when I talk about tourism, I talk about guys that just come in there. Oh, let's just see what it's like to be at Spurs Stadium, because there's a lot of that happens at Chelsea too. Where you get guys there. So let me just see what it's like at a top six, right? Because they're the local one, then the tourism area, right? I would include
you distinguish that. I didn't know that was the difference there. Okay.
Right. Because no, I distinguish that because I'm not gonna say international fan is a part as a tourist, because they're definitely not tourists, because like they probably watch the game, right? They're a fan of the club, so I would assume they understand the chants.
They know
already.
The songs, they understand, yeah.
Comprende, right? So I'm not going to include them into that thing, but there is like this big thing of like tourism that exists there, right? And that might not mean, and that for me is the bigger problem that you have with a lot of these London stadiums, let alone the Manchester stadiums, right? Because there's a lot of big clubs, right? Which I think is a bigger problem than I think people realize. It's great, maybe you can get like a section to sing, but you've got a large percentage of maybe, let's say, newcomers, right, coming into the team. It's not necessarily easy, to replace that, if that makes sense.
I would be curious to see what the numbers were in terms of ticket prices on the initial like opening of, the Emirates, for example, or the Toilet Bowl. Because obviously, if we look at it now, due to inflation, like ticket prices are going to go up over the course of time.
Because the reason why I mentioned Arsenal specifically, Arsenal has the most expensive tickets, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I've heard that. Yeah,
right. That's the point. So like those guys have very expensive tickets, right? And so you're already losing a good percentage already right there. Like I
But,
know
like,
when some of the
what I'm getting at though is that, like, for
Yeah.
example, in Highbury, a ticket that normally would be 40 quid would
cheap, I'll be honest.
when they went to the Emirates, you still had those 40 quid tickets, but you also had 30 quid and 25 quid, you know, and over the course of
it
time
wouldn't be
they've
that.
gone up.
I don't think they do 30, 25 from memory.
I'm not, that's just,
I think
like,
what would happen is the
ignore the
baseline
numbers,
price.
it's more the
It would be like
example, yeah.
I think what would probably be like is, you know, like the 40 quid, £40 probably be
Sure.
the baseline. But you probably have more of that baseline. I think is the natural assumption. I think what probably has changed is that the £40 version has probably reduced. That's probably the most logical explanation that I'll probably give to you. And then
Or that
the
30
other
pound version has, you know, been moved to maybe a seat that isn't as nice as
No, probably. I think it's usually like the east and west stands. Usually, like right. So it's the ones in the middle, not the ends. The mid. Those ones are usually the ones. The lower ones are going to be probably the cheaper ones, depending on where you're sitting. So it'll probably be like, I think at Chelsea's either east upper or west upper. One of those two is usually the cheapest sitting, right? And then obviously the Matthew Harden, depending on where you're sitting, that's probably going to be the most expensive ticket, because obviously that's at the home end, right? That's where the season ticket holders sit usually. And then obviously you've got like the box seats, right, which is for like Westview, which is that not a box seat, but it's like, that's the most expensive stand sitting one. Then you've got the box ones for like corporate and stuff, which is worth a lot more. You know, that's like 200, 300, 500 usually, stuff like that. So like that's what I'm saying. I think the problem you're just gonna have, Marshall, is that I think it's great to try. I'm not gonna say it's not great to try, but I think the atmosphere thing is gonna be very, very hard to make in general. I think so.
Scott, you said that you think obviously with the expansion of the stadium, it will probably lead to more affordable tickets that maybe young fans can join in. I mean, did Hamid sway you in the other direction, or
like I don't know, fully sway me. I do think part of the problem is just how do I word this, like the English culture, in terms of, not culture is the wrong word, but I just find it interesting, for lack of a better term, that like you look at, like, for example, Bayern Munich, like their tickets are so much cheaper. Like I'll never forget that interview that trying to remember who it was, one of the members of the staff at Bayern Munich mentioned like the Arsenal ticket prices, and like how like they'd never sell a ticket for that game, or like a season ticket or anything for that price. But I don't know, like I don't know if we'd ever get to that as a country. I don't think we probably would in this country. But yeah, I don't know. I'd like to think that it would ultimately, but in all honesty, I don't fully know. Like, I don't think any of us fully know, because we have nothing to go off. Obviously, we've got the Arsenal example. Like, they haven't like reduced their price. Like, it's only gone up. Yeah, I don't know. In all honesty,
it's going to be interesting to see how this develops, what they do to attempt to improve the atmosphere, and honestly, like what we do to try to, you know, when you're seeing other teams' stadiums getting upgrades after they already got an upgrade, it's just like we have to do something at some point. There has to be a plan. I'd be really, really deflated if we just find out at the end of the summer that we're still working on it. It's like, come on, man, we've been working on this for 4 years.
Prepared to be disappointed, bro.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be very honest with you.
Yeah, and I also think, to be honest,
Something's
whenever we
gotta
build a
give,
new
is what I'm
stadium,
trying to get at.
whenever we build a new stadium, it's not gonna be like we're subsidizing for more because we have more people. It's gonna be more expensive. I'm sorry, the culture in the EPL is all about money. If you're giving me Bayern,
that's a good
the
point.
reason why you have it in Germany is because you have the 50+1 rule. In Italy and other places, you literally have their ultras who will fucking find out where the fuck you live and throw a pig or whatever shit they need to do. We saw that with even AC Milan, when players had to literally go to the ultras and explain to them why their performances have been shit for the past 3 games. It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna get cheaper tickets. It's gonna go up. Like Ahmed said, you got that with Spurs. When Arsenal were building their thing because we're going to be the next Bayern Munich. They increase their ticket prices. They're going to increase their ticket prices again because they're going to say the new stadium costs us more money. And how do we pull that off? We have to increase ticket prices, guys, because we got this facility, we got this racetrack, we got this bar. So if you want to enjoy those things.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, most of the big six are now owned by, no offense, North American owners. And me and Marshall complain about how expensive these fucking tickets are. And how cheap these guys' tickets are. And I bet the North American owners are like, why aren't they as expensive or close to as expensive? Because
that's true.
This sport is more successful in terms of the global reach it has compared to the footballs and the basketballs that we have. So they're seeing that's why Todd Boehly and people wanted to buy this, because they see their investment getting doubling even or so forth. And how are they going to do that? By increasing ticket prices, by getting these sponsored, whatever it may be. So it's not going to be cheaper. It's going to get more expensive.
It's just a natural thing, I'm afraid. I think, listen, it's just the more global sports becomes, right? The more global sport becomes, right, and then obviously the pricing wise and everything like that, it just hurts you inside the stadium, right? That's all it is. You're in a big city. You're a global fan base. Right, you're very easy accessible to tourists. You're literally on the King's Road, but you're next to Knightsbridge. You're next to like some really good amenity stadiums. Wise, I mean, it doesn't get tougher than that, really. You know what I mean? It don't get tougher than that, and that's already before we talk about this. I think fan hubris. I'm gonna call it fan hubris to an extent because it's just like the expectation that you're gonna be winning the games anyway, bro. But like against like 90% of these sides, with all due respect, right? So it doesn't help you there either, bro. I'll be honest. So, like, I promise you, for example, I don't know when we face Barca, for example, right? Or when do we face Barca? It'll probably be like, I think it's after November, right? I think something like that. That's when we face Barca, right? Listen, the stadium will be up for it, it'll be very rowdy and everything of the sort, or like whenever we'll face like a top six side. But other than that, really, unless they're like a pure rival, essentially, like if we were facing maybe like, I wouldn't even say QPR, because like, I don't even see QPR as rivals or even Fulham. Maybe Leeds might be the only other one club that you might see us like go crazy and ballistic over. That's it, bro.
Well, speaking of fan hubris,
you know what? Time out. I've got a topic. I've actually got a topic. I think
I'm sorry. This is Ahmed, the Bridge Nation TV. What's your topic, bro?
So, as you guys know,
it's not the Bridge Nation, bro.
Listen, as you guys know, I am a big, I like to do. I'm a big collector personally. I like to collect stuff. You know what I mean? I like to. It's a side hobby of mine. I'm a big fan of doing auctions and stuff like that. So I'm a big historical sort of guy, as you know. Right today, obviously, I was actually doing some work actually in central London. I'd say for a grade listed building. Okay, grade listed building. And I thought, what? Let me go into Camden Market. I haven't been there in a few weeks. Let's see what it's about. There's usually like this guy that I usually go to in the corner. Usually he's known to get some stuff every now and then. And he actually because he knows I'm a Chelsea fan, he actually like gave me a call today. He's like, "Oh, I've got some stuff related to Chelsea if you want to go and get some free stuff." And I managed to come across some old match day programs actually from the English Football League Division 1. Started 23rd September against Ipswich Town in the 1972-1973 season. So that's
pretty cool.
And these actually cost only 5 pence apparently. That's how much they were paying for the match day program back in the day.
Fuck it, I would put that in a frame.
I actually got a few of them, and it's actually pretty cool because, like, for example, Chelsea pools. I actually know about this. Like, I'm actually from the local area.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this is actually the match day team that was actually facing each other on the day, for example. So obviously we got Peter Osgood. I don't think Peter Osgood was playing this game. Osgood was playing this game, for example. And fun fact, actually, in 1970-73, we were, I think we were Ipswich was actually second in the league, finally. Everton was first in the league. Back then, you can actually see it on here. I don't know if my camera's going to help us out.
Yeah, it's too tiny.
Bit. Oh, actually no, it's working there a little bit. So as you can see, Everton, Ipswich, Leeds, Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham, Sheffield United, Wolves, West Ham, and Chelsea were 10th with 9 games to go. So in our first 9 games. So we're moving like right now, to be honest. So I think we're repeating history here. If you know what I mean. And it's actually pretty cool. You got some of the old games, so like obviously you got some of the pictures from the previous game. It's in black and white, of course, for natural assumptive reasons and everything of the sort. And we actually beat Southend like midweek against Southend actually in the League Cup. There's actually a few more. I've got one against Burnley, but this is the season after, for example. So this is what the season after one actually looked like compared to the other one, which is pretty cool. Got one against Wolves. This is also from the previous season. I got one against Derby County. You know what I mean? The famous good old Derby. And actually, the last one I got was against Blackpool. And this one is from 1966 to 1967. So interesting things I just thought I'd bring up for you. But this one was actually written completely different. In terms of the table here, we were 4th in the league. 1966, 1967 with 32 games played. So just letting you know. But you know how many points we had being 4th in the league? 37 points.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. United was top of the league with 45 points, bro. I actually couldn't believe. Actually no, I will be like, it's actually 85, sorry. I just realized they did home and away. It's a really weird version.
Okay.
So you can see, if you just see it here, obviously before we move on, but come on. So you can see home
there you go.
goals and then away goals. So as you can see, 40, 45, Liverpool, Forest, Chelsea, and then Tottenham and Leeds. So listen, Leeds, man, used to be a very big side, Marshall, just for people who don't know.
I would put those on a big frame and hang them up. I
have an idea what
memorabilia. I think that's a really cool idea. That's actually.
I know. Guess you know how much I got them for? £1 British pound sterling each. So, and I had to pay for 4 of them. One of them slightly ripped at the end.
That's really cool.
Question for I get another sidetrack. Question for Scott and Ahmed. Are you guys Chelsea pitch owners? Like, did you guys buy? No. Okay.
I can't technically.
I'm kind of looking into it now because of all this bullshit. I'm kind of like, well, if they're gonna hold us hostage, then I want to get my voice heard too, right? The only way is to get a share.
Yeah.
Part of the problem with the share thing, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think some of the share. Well, if I'm not mistaken, this is just like an assumption. Probably have some of the shares are owned by groups. If I'm not mistaken, it's like a good percentage of that own like a lot of the pitch. Does that make sense? Like they own like a it's almost like a stock value of like 5%, 6 or 7%. I mean, and there's some of them that have like, and the thing is, it is getting diluted further because obviously people are still buying like obviously pitch certificates and stuff like that you can do. So it is getting diluted further.
That's a little insane. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, let's because you mentioned.
All I'm saying is if Wrexham can do
before.
it, if Wrexham can do it, and they were able to get 98% to get them to buy the club, I mean, we put a suitable plan in front of these guys, and maybe you might be able to.
Maybe we could. So let's talk about some of the fear mongering that's been going on, the Maresca outs, all that stuff. Again, international break, topics have been a bit dead, but there's been a few things that the media has been speaking on with this whole situation. So before the Liverpool game, this came out by I Am Rahman Osman. Those close to Maresca say he genuinely believes his squad simply isn't good enough to compete in both Premier League and Champions League this season. Continuing on, Maresca came out with quotes saying, after reviewing last 2 games, United and Brighton, I could have done better, probably in terms of decision, no doubt. For me, it's like a learning process. Play with 10 players is not something normal. Nazar Cancela came out saying here that Chelsea sporting directors and owners in the dressing room, again, after this one, pretty much happens after every match. Again, going back to the journalists coming out and saying, oh, the owners are going into the locker room. kind of enticing, like, oh shit, Maresca's in trouble, when in reality it's they just go into the locker room every time. Simon Phillips even came out with this next post. As I reported last season, a big handful of Chelsea players have not vibed with Maresca. The stuff on Palmer from last season was true, and it was more than him. A good handful of them didn't like how he was getting them to play. It is what it is. And I think he's referring to Palmer saying, I was getting tired of in the Conference League finals, getting tired of passing it side to side, so I just decided to go forward. But Maresca then came out and said that Palmer always has the freedom to do whatever he wants. Nazar Cancelo also coming out saying that in the 28th of September, all this before Liverpool, obviously, Krasa began to appear, and Enzo Maresca has made comments in recent weeks that will not have gone down well with his bosses. BBC Sport understands Chelsea set Maresca to the target of qualifying for Champions League this season. And then Matt Law, who was one of the people that was stirring the pot, came out and said after the game, this was overwhelmingly a win for Maresca. Without 8 players before the game, he saw both of his starting central defenders forced off with fitness issues. Chelsea finished with Hato, signed predominantly as a left back, and Reece James in the middle of their defense. And he's referring to this being a victory in terms of, hey, you're now in better favor with the owners as a result. Matt Law also came out and said this, pretty much what I just said. Maresca retained the faith of the Chelsea board following back-to-back defeats by United and Brighton. But this win will have gone down well upstairs as well, given it was the first time the club had beaten a reigning Premier League champion under their current owners. It wasn't too long ago where I was hearing people with the take of, it seems like Maresca is throwing his toys at the owner and coming out and complaining, and Matt Law saying, you know, they're probably alluding to, they're probably going to sack you. Look at what happened with Nuno. Look at what happened. The ownership doesn't like it when you complain and all this and that. And listen, I didn't feed into it. I didn't feed into this whole idea that Maresca's under pressure as well. I do think if things didn't improve going into December, then there might be discussions about potentially, you know, if mathematically you're out of top 4 and out of cups and all this stuff, maybe in March we hear about a sacking or something, maybe. But I do think he gets into the end of the season. But overall, I wanted to kind of bring this to you guys to the forefront to ask, how do you feel about all this? Like, do you think there's no smoke without fire, or do you think this is just journalists kind of taking advantage of, you know, a little bump on the road to try to get more eyes on them?
I don't really know, because like I just never know what to believe when it comes to like this ownership group and the news that comes out and the reports, especially when it comes to like the manager and all this kind of stuff, because so much of it just seems like it's just complete bullshit, or like it's just PR shit that we keep hearing. So like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know like where I stand with all of this.
You know what? It's difficult, right? Because I do think there is some truth to the idea that, you know, I think Maresca didn't get some of the guys that he wanted. I think there is truth to said idea. And I do think they probably were a bit annoyed or like a bit miffed about the fact that he kept on talking about that and some of the transfers. Right? I do think there can be truth to that, but I think the problem, I think what I'm more interested in is if what the word of mouth would have been this week if we had lost to Liverpool, right? Like obviously, right? If we had lost to Liverpool midweek, what would be the talking points? Because I do think there'll be some talking points probably that would have come out right after if we had lost to Liverpool. But I do think there is truth to this idea that, you know, Maresca definitely, I don't want to say something nice, but there's like a bit of friction between himself and the board currently. I don't think there's any denying that at all.
TP, do you think there's pressure from the board? I think there's pressure to get top 4, but
I don't know if it's. I don't think the thing is about pressure, Marshall. I wouldn't even consider that. I think the thing is more so. I think there's a friction with both him and the board. I think it's very similar to almost like the situation kind of like with Poch, where Poch, I think, had an issue with the transfers, right? He was still obviously do his thing in the game and play these guys essentially, right? But at the end of the day, he still had a fundamental issue, obviously, with the way the game was being played. No, so with the players that were being brought in, so I should say, right? And
Also, the
that's
players
kind
being
of
sold.
right, yeah, and that is the position that you've got right now with Maresca. I think, my personal opinion.
But I mean, with Maresca, I feel like it's slightly different, only slightly. I do feel that he is frustrated that we didn't get, or we didn't enforce certain positions, right? Because as far as I'm aware, like, I don't think he seemed to really care too much about Renato Vega leaving, about other players leaving, other players being sold. He kind of always played along with it. And same goes with players that are being brought to the club. Like, he seems to, for the most part, play along with it. If he doesn't see them fit for requirements, he benches them, doesn't play them, and then the club kind of move on and get rid of them. You know, like, I do think he is frustrated with the lack of center back depth. And I think he is frustrated to an extent with the amount of injuries that are occurring as a result of potentially Club World Cup and all that stuff. We'll talk about injuries later in the show, but like, you know, it's not helping his case. And I don't think even Maresca, for as much as, you know, he's been at the club right now, there are certain players in this team that have not been fit enough to even train with Maresca enough for Maresca to be comfortable, or Maresca to even identify like, oh no, this is like, he's fine. This is my backup. Like, and what I'm trying to say with that is that maybe if Benoit were fit for more of last season, maybe Maresca doesn't say the things he says in commentary or in the press. Maybe he's like, oh, I've seen Benoit train. Like, I know I have a good center back, even if Levi Colwell isn't there. But we haven't seen Benoit because he's been hurt for most of it. And he hasn't seen Benoit because Benoit's been recovering. Same thing goes for Fofana. To an extent, Lavia as well. Like, I don't know. I think there's that angle as well.
I feel like, but I feel like he's seen Badiashile, for example. Badiashile played quite a lot of games for us in the Conference League. So I do, and like he was coming off the bench quite a few times when he was fit. When we want to, like, you know, solidify a game. So I think he probably has a kind of like a gist an idea of what you get really from Badiashile in general. But I think right now, barring Delap, everyone else has really been fit from a new signing department, right? If I'm not mistaken. So I think he's got the gist of what these guys can and cannot do, if we're being fair from that aspect. I just think, listen, there is definitely friction between himself and the board, in the sense of like him not being happy, maybe with the guys he brought in per se, right, and the quality that has been brought in, and maybe the positions that we've not been able to obviously strengthen in. And he's been making his voice clear, but end of the day, you have signed the dotted line, as I always say, and it's time to move. It's time to just do your job, mate. You know what I mean? Try to do best with what you've got. That's why I always say.
Before the Liverpool game, were any of you guys kind of leaning towards Maresca out?
No.
I don't think any of us were really thinking Maresca out. I've always said that I think if the run of losses continue, he was in trouble. If that makes sense, Marshall. Like, come on, Sogol. He was in trouble in the sense that, obviously, like, if we keep losing, because top four is the expectation this year, you probably have to, like, obviously stick the knife in. You have to stick the knife in a little bit more earlier before it starts becoming impossible. Early and only because you need top four. That's the one thing I'll probably say more than anything else this year, compared to maybe like the previous year before.
Oh yeah, this year especially because of the whole restriction with FFP.
Right, yeah. So this year, I think the situation would be different. I know they were trying to come out with their thing of saying like, oh, you know, don't worry, you know, obviously, you know, we're not gonna set Maresca in there and everything like that. So, you know, we're gonna judge them at the end of the season like they did with like Poch. But I think this year is very different. Like, this year would be different because of, like, you've got restrictions upcoming. You still don't have a front of chat sponsor, right? So financially, there is a need for top four. That's the one thing I will say.
Yeah, I get that. Anyone else wants to add to this topic before we move on to the next one?
Just on the point of Maresca, we're at the point, like, we were here last season, but we're even further along the point of, like, the whole Maresca in or out conversation is a waste of time while these sporting directors are here, because ultimately, it doesn't really matter how anyone feels about Maresca, whether you're convinced by him or not, still after however long it's been. He and this squad is being hamstrung and let down by these sporting directors on a consistent basis. So I don't really care what happens with Maresca in the long term. I think he has done a very good job, especially last season. I don't know if he's going to win us a league title. Who knows at this point? Like, it's way too early to tell. What I can say is, it would be a damn sight easier if we had Maignan here. It would be a damn sight easier if we had a left winger of substance here. It would be a damn sight easier if you had another striker here and weren't having to play João Pedro through injury and kind of out of position every game. Or having to rely on Mark Hugh or Tyree George. So, like, at the end of the day, the manager talk is a waste of time. Because if Luis Enrique came in tomorrow, it might look better. He's still going to face the same problems.
Question for the panel. Let's just hypothetical. We end the season, no trophies. We make cup runs. We get to finals and shit like that. Maybe we get to the semifinal of Champions League or something, like whatever. But we win no trophies, and then we finish outside the top 4. Are we Maresca out at that point?
I mean, does our opinion matter at that point? I'll be real with you. I think again, I always
it's
say
just
context.
Opinion for the sake of, like, I
think the thing is, it's gonna be down to context. I always said this before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, one of the only issues that I had right now with Maresca was obviously just, like, you know, lack of utilization of the squad. He started to do that, at least against Liverpool. I don't know against Nottingham Forest if he starts reverting back to type, stops using them again, which is then going to be like, okay, mate, it was cool, but I just think for me it's going to be context that matters, right? If he's not able to make top 4 by quite a bit, and we don't win any trophies, and there's a lack of progression, I do think you just have to look at it and be like, you've regressed from what you did last season.
Mm-hmm.
And I think whether we like it or not, I'll make the argument our squad is still slightly better than it was last year.
Yeah. It's at least more reinforced in terms of the depth.
Yeah.
I think this is sentimentality clouding my judgment, but I almost feel that because of what I've seen this team capable of, and because I know the sporting directors haven't necessarily given you, and that's the thing, like, you're right, there is context to it, and for me it's like, okay, I have my opinions on Garnacho, I have my opinions on Gittins, I have my opinions on some of the players we got, but if somehow, some shape or form, you guys saw something that I didn't, and Maresca brings that out of them, and I see improvement on these players, and I see a use for them, then my whole argument is null and void at this point. But I almost think that if he gets to the end of the season and actually doesn't make top 4, because I've seen what he can do, because he has won trophies, I would be willing to give him the next season to see if the directors can rectify their mistakes, which at this point too, with the directors, I'd want them out. I'd still want them out. But it's almost like I don't want to blame Maresca for how the season ends, but he does play a part in it. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, Scott or CP. What do you guys think?
What I will say about the top 4 thing is, it's similar mentality how it was last season, in terms of it all depends on the reason we don't get top 4. Like, if we don't get top 4 because our depth players, when they had to come in and perform because we needed to rotate because we're also playing Champions League, didn't perform well, I'm not putting out Maresca, because I don't think either of our left wingers are good enough right now. Our number 10 is a lone player from Brighton. Our backup striker is a guy that wasn't good enough for us last season as a backup striker. or wasn't trusted, I should say. Not necessarily wasn't good enough, but wasn't trusted, and hasn't done anything so far to prove that he should be trusted more in the league because he hasn't played. So like, how can I internal solutions at centre back? We finished the game the other day with no, technically speaking, because of how Hato is viewed in the squad. Yeah, because of how, even though he can play centre back and has played centre back previously, he's seen as a left back in the squad. So like, I can't blame Maresca for that.
Yeah,
like
that's kind of where like I'm at. Yeah.
So that's that. If that's the reason we don't get top four, I'm not going to blame Maresca. If we don't get top four because like Maresca's making and it's costing us games with idiotic decisions, then that's a different conversation. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Like at the moment, I think that's too early to talk about. But yeah, like I think we cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah. As far as I'm aware, as of where I stand with it right now, I think Maresca has earned my trust. He's bought himself time in my book, and like obviously, yeah. I think any fan that didn't want to give Maresca the second season after what he did is absolutely agenda driven. No shit, I'm going to give you the second season after you won Club World Cup and all this stuff. Like, let's see what you can do now that you got your ideas in place and these players are playing towards how you want to play. And to be honest, it's funny that we talked about it earlier with the typical Maresca ball, like what it looks like. That goal against Liverpool, that's what Maresca ball looks like. And as the season goes on, we're able to identify it more and more. Like, oh, it involves so many players. It involves a lot of just, it's super tactical. Like, I like what I'm seeing. It's better than anything I saw under Poch, I'll tell you that. And I can identify at times, okay, the players are finally starting to click and understand what they need to do in the positions that they are. Sometimes Maresca gets it wrong tactically, but against Liverpool, against Arne Slot, who he is no joke of a manager. He also had his plans and set it up the way he did. And, you know, on a worse day, maybe we fall to that tactic. But he adapted, figured it out. Players on the pitch also figured it out. And we saw Maresca ball. And as the season goes on, hopefully the newer players start to gel, start to understand what the tactics are and what's required of them on the pitch, and hopefully leads to results, because I want to see progress, and I have been seeing that progress since Maresca joined, in terms of, as you know, especially in consideration of like his tactics and his ideas now being translated on the pitch and by the players. So Simon Phillips coming out and saying like all this and that about, oh, these guys didn't like the vibe of Maresca. It's such bullshit. It's a lot of agenda, in my opinion, and it's sad to see, because
what
Simon
I will
Phillips
say, Marshall, I don't really usually like. And then with Simon Phillips, he's like he's almost. I like to call them like fan reporters. So it's a bit more.
Sure.
You know, with those ones, you have to
He
understand.
was reputable at some point, you know. That's why.
No, but they can be reputable. But the point I'm trying to say, he is reputable. I'm not going to actually deny that. I'm saying at the same time, you need to also understand. He's also going to have like a fan POV. I think that's the difference that you have to understand too, right, with him. So
Sure.
I think that aspect is always going to make whatever he says have some level of bias that might not be obviously as objective that you might get, right? This is why, again, I always talk about I think Simon Jordan. So it's Simon Johnson, sorry, not Jordan. Simon Johnson of the Athletic. He usually gives you the soundbite of the club. Like if you want to really know the soundbite club, it's probably him. And I would actually include Matt Law into it. But I think Matt Law also, he will give you articles where he's also interpreting some of the stuff at the same time too, right? Because he gives interpretations in some of his articles where you will see like opinion, for example, right? Or like whenever he's on the London is Blue podcast, he'll usually tell you that this is probably how they feel. This is why they feel it, etc., etc. And then he would obviously give his opinion afterwards, in regards to as to why that is or that isn't the case.
Yeah, I guess I need to look at it that way.
I always encourage you, Marshall, to actually listen to London's Review pod, because you actually give you their opinion, and and then he gives his opinion. Does that make sense? Like you then hear like how he feels about stuff. If that makes sense, the reporter's feeling, and then but he gives the opinion of the club before he does that. If that makes sense.
I definitely do my best to differentiate journalists' opinion versus the factuals, which I think a lot of people need to do. But I just hate when the fan base take an opinion as a fact, and Matt Law knows that fans do that. But at the end of the day, Matt Law has the right to express his opinion. But it is what it is. And yeah, one day I will have to listen to the podcast. I agree with you. Okay, let's move on to the next topic I had. Let's talk about goalkeepers. And we brought it up earlier. There's news in support. There's news against. And it's about Maignan. And then we'll transition from this to Sanchez as well. I'm sure we're looking forward to having this conversation. So, in regards to Maignan, I got news from a few weeks ago. Kieran Gill reporting that apparently the transfer mistake that haunts Enzo Maresca. Chelsea refused to commit the numbers involved for Mike Maignan. They saw Maignan as worth £12.7 million due to only having 1 year remaining on his current contract at the age of 30. AC Milan wanted £21 million. So about a £9 million difference in evaluation. I think it's penny pinching, but whatever. The BBC Sport Daily Express reported that Maignan could be on Chelsea's transfer agenda again in the next window following Robert Sanchez's performance against Manchester United. He is free to sign a pre-contract agreement in January as his current deal expires next summer and was wanted by Chelsea in the summer. Continue on. Graham Bailey also reported that I think the deal for Mike Maignan is way down the road, so I can excuse them for not bringing in Donnarumma in because they got a world-class one coming in the summer. Maybe. And Graham Bailey is not a nobody reporter either. He has some reliability. And then the latest here, October 5th, is apparently Chelsea signing Maignan in January is more than possible, according to Matty Moretto from Football Transfer News. Now, I'm going to merge this with the next topic because it all falls together. Sanchez. So, apparently Sanchez is going to stay. This is why.
Why is that surprising?
Sky Cava reports that Chelsea will also not be signing a goalkeeper in January or next summer. Robert Sanchez has cut down the number of mistakes he has made. Philip Jurgensen is still highly rated at the club. That one I don't like. Is still highly rated at the club, and he was a summer transfer target for some of the biggest clubs in England. Mike Penders has been receiving some rave reviews and helped Strasbourg climb to third in the table. Continue on. Chelsea offered the chance to sign AC Milan goalkeeper Mike Maignan in the summer, but decided not to pay the asking price because they had faith in Sanchez, Jurgensen, and Penders. Robert Sanchez, oh my God, October 7th. Robert Sanchez won the award of best goalkeeper in the Club World Cup competition, and despite his red against Manchester United, has cut down the mistakes he makes. Oh wow, what timing! The timing could not be better. So, and then Simon Phillips said that if you believe this, you'll believe anything. Direct from the club, early new season, obviously trying to keep everyone happy. They were very open to offers for Sanchez and Jurgensen in the summer. Okay. So, I'm going to say my piece on this. You guys give me your opinion. Try not to be biased. I don't want to keep Sanchez. He's not done enough to convince me that he should stay. However, I can admit, so far this season, he is better than what he was last season, which isn't much, but I feel like he is, because there's a United mistake. Prime would like to bring up the fact that he flubbed at a ball that went for a corner anyways.
Don't
against...
mention my name. Speak for yourself.
Wait, Prime.
Brentford.
Let him complete. We're gonna go after this. Wait.
That was against Brentford. And obviously the mistake, the stupid pass he made against Liverpool that accounted to nothing, but that was a mistake in my opinion. Like, you passed it directly to, I think it was McAllister or whatever. which wasn't good. However, I think his passing ability, although
It's
still shit at times, is now giving me more fruit than it did before. Like before, no passing ability at all. Now, okay, still shit, but every now and again, you'll give me a brilliant pass. So, I'm not saying we should keep him. I do still want Maignan. But I can at least admit I feel like he has improved since last season.
I disagree entirely. I don't think he's improved at all.
He doesn't make those passes that they did against Liverpool or PSG last season.
Who?
What
Sanchez.
passes? Yeah, what passes?
So, for example, in the Liverpool game, the long ball pass to Garnacho. That
He made
Garnacho
plenty of
brings-
those last season, Marshall. They're just few and far between. He's made plenty of those last season.
Has he? I don't remember them.
Yes, he made plenty of those. Like,
The
okay,
only one I
plenty's
can
the wrong
think
word.
of is maybe like
Plenty's the wrong
Cole
word.
one
Like,
where he
he's
throws
made
it.
those passes. He just makes those so sporadically that it doesn't
You
mean
see?
anything.
Well, hold on, Scott. Hold on. You see how I preface multiple times that I still think we should get Maignan. I don't want to keep him, but all I'm saying is that he's improved from last season. And Keyshawn, like many other people in the chat, are misinterpreting me and saying, so we should keep him, Marshall. No, I never said we should keep him, but we continue. Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, like, I genuinely don't think he's any better as a player. He's the exact same player. Like, the only difference between this season and last season is the mistakes he's making aren't costing us points.
Yeah.
That's the only difference between this season and last season, because he's made a bunch of mistakes already. He made at least 2 against Palace, or at least 1, probably 2 against Palace. Neither of them cost us the game. He made a mistake the game after, which I don't think cost us the game. Who do we play after Palace?
Wasn't it? It was West Ham, the Paqueta goal.
Yep, made a mistake there. Didn't cost
I
us the
forgot
game.
to mention that. Yeah.
He has also made mistakes. He made the one against Liverpool, didn't cost us the game. That's the only difference. He's still making the same mistakes he made last season. He's still a bozo. Ultimately, like, I think someone's I can't remember where it was or what it was on, but someone said this is a point. I think it's a great point. He is a decent shot stopper. He's a decent keeper. He forever has a bozo mistake in him, which is why he will never be anything more than a good goalkeeper. You can't ever be more than a good goalkeeper if there is any moment that you can have a bozo mistake. Sorry, like, you can't be a good goalkeeper, like, any more than a good goalkeeper. And that's what he is. He hasn't improved. He's the same goalkeeper. It just is what it is. We've got to wait until Penders is ready, and then we get to see the back of him. And I'll celebrate. Like, so huge, you have no idea. Yeah, he's the same player. He's the same midfielder. They're not midfielder, sorry, same
I'll
goal.
admit, like, when Penders, and I hope the idea is when, not if, when Penders comes in, he's going to be a blatant, like, upgrade to Sanchez, just from the passing ability alone. Because what I've seen from Strasbourg, he's got very, very good vision and good passing
No, the
ability.
issue is, Marshall, like, just on the Penders thing, is I agree, I think passing-wise he'll be better. The issue is he's still making mistakes. I watched the... What game was it? I watched the Monaco game where they lost 3-2. He was culpable for one of the goals from his passing, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, he was potentially at fault for another one of the goals, but I don't know. But, like, this isn't me trying to, like, downplay him or say he's shit or anything. I'm saying he's a young kid. He's going to make mistakes, and ultimately, that's the problem. But he has to come good because it's him or Sanchez, and Sanchez reeks, or Jorgensen, and so Jorgensen is somehow worse than Sanchez. In fact, I'm saying that is ludicrous, but it's somehow true.
But, like, I mean, I'm sure you would agree with this. You'd be willing to tolerate some mistakes from Penders because you at least see, like, there's potential.
Oh yeah, there's room for him to grow. There's room for him to grow.
Yeah.
Same reason why I'll take mistakes over, like, from Achimpong as opposed to Caliber, for example, or Tosin, because they're younger and they're 100%. Yeah, it's just this is what we're used to. The Maignan thing pisses me off like no end, especially the price. Like, just seeing that price. Fun little game. I decided to look up some of the players that this club has bought for the same price or more than what we were willing to pay for Maignan. So we bought Cassidy for more than we were willing to spend on Maignan. We bought Anselmino for more than what we were willing to spend on Maignan. We bought Asugo for more than what we were willing to spend on Maignan, and Kellyman for more than what we were willing to spend on Maignan.
I just, again, unless it's on a free,
All
in January
of those four
pre-agreement, I
players,
don't
by
care.
the way, those four
Mhm.
players, you can count their appearances for Chelsea on one hand and not run out of fingers.
Anyone else have any thoughts on this situation? Looking less and less like, I don't know. It could be PR. It could just be.
I'm gonna be real with you, Marshall. Maignan Nation ain't coming to the club.
Yep. It's PR. Straight up PR.
I think that my issue. My thing is probably next season your starting goalkeeper is going to be Mike Penders. That's the way things are looking right now. I'm afraid.
It's either Penders or Sanchez, and Penders is
I
the
can't.
backup.
And my issue is if you have another season of Sanchez, I can't do that, bro.
But you can, bro. You did it this season. We're doing it this season.
But I expected this to happen this season. I'll be real. I didn't. I was willing to accept it for this season, but next season having Sanchez again, like we are just playing with mediocrity at that point. We're just playing with mediocrity. We are like giving ourselves like a hard cap. I probably would say with Sanchez, right? In terms of like the max we can go with. I don't think Sanchez is like a title-winning goalkeeper. I've said that before. Can he get a top four? Absolutely. But if you want to make sure you reach that next step, yeah, Sanchez is not going to be that guy for you. I'll be honest.
Of course he isn't. He's
Yeah, I'll just say one thing before Prime does his thing. All I'm gonna do is I pray every day. I pray every day that Penders turns into the next Courtois. Every day, because next season I beg he's my starting goalkeeper. He's good enough to be that. Because fuck me, I can't do this anymore after this season. Anyways, Prime, your time to shine.
Marshall, don't be a fraud and bring up those tweets, please.
Okay, here we go.
Bring up what?
The tweets that you were showing.
What I just had on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have the other one up as well.
Which one?
The Mike Maignan one? Are you talking about that one? The
Yeah,
gas
but-
one?
There's
Because none
Yeah,
of
the
this
best
that's
one.
tweets
shown,
on here.
because none of this that's shown, by the way, is anything like new. Like, thank you, Sky Kavanaugh, genius. Like, nothing's new. We know he's going to be our goalkeeper for the end of the season. We know this thing of rating Jorgensen, but yet Jorgensen won't play because Sanchez is playing. And we're not going to buy Maignan because Penders is coming in the summer. We know this. Like, it's just regurgitated nonsense. I disagree with the waffle Marshall was saying about he's only made like one mistake this season. That's wrong. He's made
I said
more,
2.
and also he's made a lot of mistakes this season, but you say that he's improved. He hasn't, because he's doing the same thing at the start of this season he did at the start of last season. The exact same thing, making bullshit mistakes, but they don't cost us because we're winning games. People don't remember what he did against Brighton last year, for example. The first game we played where Palmer scored, he scored 4 goals in one half. How everyone got gassed because we won, was it 4-2 or something? And Palmer scored 4 goals. But people don't remember the mistake that Sanchez made for one of their goals. It's just the same bullshit he keeps doing. We look better because we have a better structured defense and better players around him in defense when Chalobah is not playing. So when you mitigate one mistake, you can then mitigate the other mistake, Sanchez. And as much as that will be good enough to get you top 4, or maybe it's good enough for cup runs and stuff, inevitably, to win a league title or to consistently be winning big games, to win major trophies, it's just... What's this? Oh, okay. You brought up the Club World Cup. I thought you were trying to do something. Okay.
No.
It's not gonna be good enough. Marshall, you tagged me in something after the Liverpool game about Sanchez being top 3 goalkeepers.
Yes. Let me find it. Give me 2 seconds.
the fact that that's a, like, bro, that's Jesus.
See, I
Christ.
never said
Yes.
that. But
This is
this is
the
the thing,
family
like,
forward.
I don't see... So, Prime, on his timeline, sees a bunch of Sanchez touted as the best, like a bunch of Sanchez support, where on my timeline, all I see is negativity towards Sanchez. So I feel like, from my perspective, it feels like Sanchez is the most criticized player in this Chelsea
He's
team
definitely
right now.
No,
Who is?
bro. The only
Out of
Sanchez,
curiosity.
Any of the centre backs,
bro,
Chalobah,
the
probably.
only Sanchez
Mm,
criticism I see on my timeline that's not from me is when Daniel retweets or quote tweets supposed
Well, that's Daniel.
Sanchez slander because he's crying.
Daniel supports everyone, and then all of a sudden he'll flip on them. So
No, he doesn't. Daniel, like, he doesn't support everything that's Chelsea. He only
He's
supports
been Maresca out since December. Then when they won the World Cup, he supported Maresca for 2
that's what I'm
games.
saying. He flip flops all the time.
Yeah,
And
so
then he changed
I'm
it.
not taking Daniel's opinion.
Daniel crashes on Gittins to prop Garnacho. So whatever.
No way, I haven't seen that lately. Okay, damn.
I've seen when Garnacho.
Don't be surprised if that changes halfway through the season.
game. Not the Benfica game.
Yeah.
Was it the Benfica? Where
Yes.
he got the he was given the assist.
Mhm.
Was he actually given the
on-
assist for that? Sorry.
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
was.
He was.
He was.
It was an own goal. What the fuck do you mean?
A United fan
Hey man, one assist. Let's go. Man.
got a United fan got gas because apparently the assist wasn't given to him, and then Daniel quote tweeted it was something like "Oh, sorry, Gittins, but I'm gonna crash it on you," and "Yay, Garnacho," something like that. Like, I've gone through this guy's tweets. He rates Garnacho, and he's so.
Or he's
But
actually
regardless of that,
I'll be real.
Yeah,
I'll be real with
regardless
you.
hold on. Can I just finish speaking? Lewis tweeted something today about how, or quote tweeted someone about, because I think an Arsenal fan tweeted something like, Chelsea fans think they have a best player in every position. And then Lewis quote tweeted it and said, what Chelsea fan thinks we've got a top, we've got the best goalkeeper and best centre back, etc., and best left winger. This is the same fan base that last summer said, Chalobah's world class. Same people that said Chalobah's our best centre back. Scott here said it. It's goalkeeper. The same people in this fan base that said that Sanchez is top 5 shot stopper. Marshall. This fan base right here is saying Sanchez is top 3 goalkeepers. So if we have a top 3 goalkeeper, top 5 shot stopper, world class centre back, and we're still struggling, or not struggling, but we're still doing this top 4 malarkey, then what's the problem here? What's the issue? Thank you. You found it. What's the issue here? Like Lewis saying people lie on this app. I know what Chelsea fans are like. So is it believable for me to think that they would think Sanchez, especially now that Alisson's injured, and apparently Sanchez is clear of Donnarumma, is it believable to think Chelsea fans think Sanchez is the best goalkeeper in this league? No. I believe that. I believe Chelsea fans believe that. I truly do.
I don't think so.
If
Because these are the same.
Sanchez is better than-
These
if
Chelsea
Sanchez
fans
is
are the
better
same. Prime. These are the same Chelsea fans that we have video recording of them booing Sanchez whenever he was on the ball. You literally have Ahmed
When were they
as
booing him?
physical last season. You literally have Ahmed
when were
as
they
as a
booing him?
last season. You literally have Ahmed as physical evidence that he said whenever Sanchez is on the ball, he felt like people in the crowd just wanted to actually murder him for racial
When
reasons.
were they
Even
booing
like
him?
multiple times during the season. I can't pinpoint a single game because I don't pay attention to those things.
And remember, we had this brilliant back end of the season, the brilliant Club World Cup, and now the start of the season, people want to talk about how he's had this run where he's looked amazing. They didn't want Donnarumma because Sanchez is better than him. And now, because of
I didn't say that, by the way. I know you're not pointing it at me, but
Yeah, there
I
was,
know I didn't say that.
when things are aimed at you,
You had a
Marshall,
certain
I
Robert here in
mentioned
your
your
channel
name.
before this.
I mentioned your name,
Mhm.
Marshall, when things are aimed at you. Just know that. But this fan base, I believe this sort of stuff. I don't know why they believe it because they're brain dead, but they believe this. They believe this. Of course they do. And with the run of fixtures we have coming up, which I would say they look favorable up until we play Arsenal.
Sure.
If we get to the Arsenal game and we've won more or less every game, say we've only lost one or drawn one, and Alisson's still injured, will Chelsea fans be saying we have the best goalkeeper in the league on form?
No,
Of course they will.
Fuck it, put this.
Are you going to pretend you don't know what this fan base is like?
I'm willing to listen to shouts of people saying that Sanchez has improved this season, but to go as far as to say the best goalkeeper,
You said he was
when
top 3 in the league, by the way. Don't think I'm forgetting that.
I said
That's
top
top
5
five. That's top 5.
I was top
in
5
terms of shot stopping ability. And I do still hold on to that. I think in terms of shot stopping ability, he is top 5 in the league. But
And you said he's just about top 10 in the world, or outside top 10 in the world.
probably outside of top 10 in terms of shot stopping ability. Yes. I believe this season his passing ability is getting better.
Why
He's
has
still
it
going to make
improved?
mistakes.
Wait, I need to see this statistically. No, go
Why
continue. I want to have to Google
why
it.
is his passing improved though?
I feel like this season so far, we're only how many games in? 6 games? 7 games in? No, 8.
Something like that. I don't actually know.
Something around that
in the-
number.
In the
I've
Prem,
seen
like,
in the Prem. I mean, you could count Europe as well, but I'm just saying in the Prem. In the Prem games so far, I've seen more from his passing than I have the entirety of last season, excluding
I
Club World
disagree.
Cup, obviously.
I still
but
disagree.
what do you? When you say you've seen more from his passing, does that also include when he's kicking the ball out of play?
Yes, but like again, I need to make sure we're on the same page here. How do I word this? I'm also not going to pretend that other keepers that play out the back don't just throw away passes either, or also don't make mistakes from passing out the back. Like
They don't
no
make as many as he
keeper,
does.
sure, but this season, in terms of the errors I've seen, the very blatant errors, I'm counting really 3 out of 7 games so far.
Do you know
Or
what
not
I
even
put
that.
that?
Just
Do
in
you
the
know what I
Prem.
put that down to? Because we saw it in the Club World Cup. Credit to Maresca for mitigating his mistakes. However, the mistakes are still there. So when people talk about Maresca improving things, he's not necessarily per se improved Sanchez, but he's altered
Jesus.
certain things about how we play
Yeah.
just to get the best out of what we have, which is what
'Cause
Maresca
the thing is-
doing with some of these songs.
Like the thing is, for example, I like being fair and balanced, and you know this is why I even have these arguments. But like, I don't hear people slandering Donnarumma for the amount of mistakes he made in just one game against Arsenal. Like it didn't lead to them losing, but he made a lot of mistakes, especially in that second half. In terms of ball claiming, on the ball, like he made mistakes. Even the goal to Martinelli, it's his mistake, or partially his mistake.
The goal to Martinelli, I'd be real, I don't think it's a mistake.
He was out
No,
of
he's
position.
in no man's land. I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. He had
Yeah,
no
but
choice, but,
also-
I get it.
Yeah, but also me as a goalkeeper, like it's Martinelli. So I don't think him doing that is a problem because I'm expecting
If Robert
Martinelli
Sanchez
to
did
try
that,
it.
you'd be roasting Robert Sanchez for not being in his position.
No, I wouldn't. I'd be fair because if Robert Sanchez did that to Martinelli, who I'm expecting to sky it, I'm not saying that as a problem. If Robert
But
Sanchez or Donnarumma
Doesn't have that
to-
excuse. He doesn't play in the
hold on.
same league as Robert Sanchez.
Hold
This is his first experience
they do play in the same league.
outside of PSG.
Well,
This is his first season in the Prem. Yeah.
But no, but I don't. We know notoriously Martinelli's shit. So I would expect Martinelli to miss that.
Donnarumma
So
probably
I
doesn't
would.
know that.
Why wouldn't he know that? He's played against Martinelli
Because he's
before.
been playing in PSG his whole life. He played against Arsenal
he's played-
once. And that was last season.
Milan.
3 times. 3 times.
When did he play
Also-
against Arsenal
also
previously?
Arsenal-
Against Martinelli.
In the league.
They played
in
him
the
3
league
times
stage,
last season, by the way.
Also, Arsenal are a
Twice.
top 6 club
Twice
in
or
England.
3
They're one of the biggest club in the world. Martinelli is a Brazilian who plays for his country. Let's not pretend we don't know who Martinelli is.
Wait,
So,
I was just
yeah.
thinking,
I'm expecting if it's Haaland, say for example, in that position, or like Isaac or whatever, a notoriously good goal scorer, cool. Then yes, it is a fault of the goalkeeper because you should be doing better. However, with a player who is not like great, I would say it's kind of okay to be able to take that risk because I'm expecting him to sky the shot. And if Martinelli ends up skying the shot, then all of a sudden people are saying it's great goalkeeping from Donnarumma. People are going to over-exaggerate it on that end as well. So that's my thing.
I think you're
But
giving Donnarumma excuses.
I'm not, because you can't say it's not an excuse, and you can't say it's agenda. Because I've praised Sanchez.
You can't just
It's not an agenda.
neglect. Like, okay, then Virgil van Dijk is shit because he marked Guiu for the last goal, even though Guiu is not scored in the Prem. Like
how does that make Van Dijk shit? What does that? What do you mean?
Because like you're pretending that like, oh, it's Martinelli, it's okay to be out of position. Okay, so with Van Dijk, why did Van Dijk follow Marguiu? Isn't it okay to just let...
No, it's not.
It was Guiu.
It's not out of position. It's him rushing out to throw Martinelli off. I understand why he did it. Because it's Martinelli. I understand why.
All right, I don't want to dwell too much on this, but go on. You were speaking.
I'm speaking from a goalkeeper's perspective. I get it. Because it's Martinelli. I understand why.
I just think a better goalkeeper doesn't underestimate anyone. They always are prepared in case you can actually have that shot. You're a professional player.
Yeah,
that means you're able to do professional things at a higher level than other people.
Van Dijk's done that before. Since you want to mention Van Dijk, remember years back. Remember how everyone praised Van Dijk
Van Dijk
for
makes
the
mistake.
But remember how everyone praised Van Dijk for the 1v2 he was defending on a counter against Spurs. The Son Mora thing. Remember how everyone praised that?
I don't remember, but go on. Yeah,
that was poor defending because, I think Mora had was it Mora that had the ball and he could have squared it to Son and he didn't. And Mora tried going for goal and just missed. And people praised Van Dijk for how he ushered the defending and ushered Mora into the pressure shot when he didn't really do that. So, what are we doing?
Okay, let's. I don't care about the. I literally looked at his stats for.
I was looking at his passing stats. They're bad, bro. They're just straight up shit.
No, they're actually bad. No, so I checked 2025 and 2024 comparisons. So I'll just go through it. He's conceding more. He used to be at 1.06. He's at 1.2. Yeah, this is just Robert Sanchez. His 2 years, right? One is 2024 and one is just 2025. He's
the calendar year, not the season.
Yes, calendar year, because they're not doing season for this thing right now. So he's conceding more in 2025. In 2024, it was 1.06. It's 1.25. In 2024, it used to be 72.4 save percentage. He's at 66.7. He used to have a 2.9 save per game. Now he has a 2.2. He's stopping less. He's saving less shots per 90. He also is collecting less crosses at 1.1 compared to 1.4. He has less sweeping actions. When it was 1.8, now it's at 0.5. His throw passes are less, but his long passes, he's doing more of them from 17.4 to 19.6. And because of that, his passing percentage has gone up from 37 to 41. So in every other goalkeeping category, he's way down, but his long passing has gone up by 2, and his long passing completed has gone up by 3. But he's conceding more, saving less in every way, in every category. So he's actually a shittier goalkeeper this season.
I was going to say. But do you believe that? Do you think he's a worse goalkeeper?
Yes, I'm literally looking at stats. They're saying he's conceding more and saving less percent. He's in percentage-wise, he's saving 6% less.
I'll be honest, I understand what the stats said. I don't necessarily think he's a worse keeper.
For stats for goalkeepers,
let's go finish. Hold on, Prime. Let's go finish.
No, but
Scott's going to say
last thing. But Prime. If we're talking about 2025, this is when we had. If we're just counting 2025, most of 2025 was when we were having our amazing defensive run.
Yeah.
His stats should be better.
2024 is also when we had Poch. For the thing, stats about goalkeepers. If you're facing,
he should be conceding. No, but he should be conceding.
Yes, I know.
He's conceding more now.
I know. However, I know, but when you compare it to the shots you face, remember there was a 3-year period in the 2010s when the worst keeper in the league would have the most, would face the most shots or have the best save percentage. That's how Mignolet and Pickford were able to get their moves to Everton and Liverpool. Because
they were saving more shots. They don't have the highest save percentage. He's worse at cross claiming too. He's worse at everything.
Yeah, but is
He's
that
looking
also
worse than every
because
goalkeeper
is that
besides passing.
is that his percentage? Like he's facing less.
Yeah, he's literally facing less shots
Well,
and has less save percentage.
for that
If you
statistic
if you
specifically.
face
Go ahead,
less, it's
Prime.
going to be lower. If you face less, it will be low. However, I still agree that he's the same goalkeeper.
It's just that's the
agree
thing.
with
Like,
him, he's the same goalkeeper.
I hear what the stats say, and like I understand it, but I just think he's the same keeper. Like, I think it's just a case of like, part of it is the fact that the defensive structure for the most part this season has been worse. So obviously, he ends up having to make more saves or being put in positions where he's going to concede more, or whatever, and that's not always his fault. But the passing thing, I'm looking at his passing stats from this season. Like, even with him making more passes, like the Liverpool game, he attempted 28 long passes, completed 9. His overall pass accuracy was 60%.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not like better
Against what game was this? I think this was the Brighton game. He completed 7 of 30, 56% pass accuracy. That's in total. That's including short passes.
Yeah.
He's the same keeper. He's literally the same keeper.
Marshall, you said his passing has improved, right? Scott, can you find out his passing against Palace? Because Palace is the game when we needed someone to pass out the back. We didn't have Cole. So can you mention that, please?
I could find it.
I remember talking about how
why
couldn't our ball playing
one game? But like one game, anyone can have a bad game in one game. I'm just talking in general. Like so far, what we've seen this season. If I looked at just one game, then yeah, he probably was shit for passing that game. But my argument isn't based off of one game.
71%, 12 attempted, 2 accurate.
71% is better than his average.
Yeah, but Scott has mentioned a lot of games. That's why I just wanted to mention that as well.
Yeah.
The thing is in that Palace game, like you see what CP's talking about in terms of, I think it was either CP or Prime said about in terms of Maresca asking to play more long balls. That game against Palace, it was 12-2, which is basically what we were seeing last season. So I think it's just a case of he's being asked to play more long balls, which means more are coming off, but that's because he's playing more. So his actual accuracy is not improving with his long balls. He's just playing a lot more, so a lot more hit.
You know
it's
what,
playing
Scott?
the odds.
I think part of it, maybe what I'm seeing, and it's actually really likely what I'm seeing. I think I mentioned this in the summer. I think finally having the type of wingers and strikers that can actually make something of his passes is helping his stats.
Wingers, I disagree because I don't think we still have wingers that do what you just said. Like Garnacho can, but we haven't seen it enough because he hasn't played. The only time we saw it was that one pass to him. Well, it was like 1 or 2 passes to him in that Liverpool game. That's all we've seen.
Which, by the way, the pass that everyone gasses up from Sanchez, by the way, against Liverpool, that shit defending from Liverpool, it's not great from Sanchez. I'm going to be so real.
I mean, it's still finding the player and pinging it to him. And yeah, listen, one thing I'll give Garnacho that I really like about him so far, it's probably the only thing I can say I really like about him.
Okay.
He has a good touch.
No, he doesn't.
He's got a really good touch so far. In terms of killing balls from the air,
I'd say it's mixed.
I on the ground maybe, but like if it's coming from the air, out of all of our players, I don't know anyone else that has a killer touch like that. Or I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I've seen just
sorry.
Stops.
Sorry, repeat that again. Out of all of our players, you don't know anyone who has a killer touch like that.
To kill a ball from the air, yeah.
Esteval does.
Okay.
Wait,
you're talking about Chelsea players, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Marshall.
Name me a player that can kill the ball the way Garnacho killed it from that Sanchez pass, and also the way he killed the ball. What game was it? I think it was the Brentford game, where a ball just comes cross midfield. I think it was even an Enzo pass, and he kills it, and it's still on his foot. He doesn't have to step forward or anything at all.
Palmer's got a better first touch. Esteval has a better first touch. Reece James has a better first touch. I go on.
No, not like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you can find me where it literally looks like the ball is glued to his foot, then I will concede this argument. But I've not seen.
You show me that pass.
I will after the stream. I'll actually go and I'll find it and I'll clip it and I'll show you, Because there's 2 moments I can think of, and it's only the 2 moments so far. But if he can keep doing that, it's something to add to his arsenal, but it's not everything, right? I'm not trying to say Garnacho's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm just saying that's been one aspect, and so far the only aspect I've liked a lot so far is his ability to really kill balls from the air. But yeah, listen, in terms of this, going back to what we were saying,
at Chelsea. Okay.
that's not what I said. Yeah, that's not what I said either. Yeah. I said when it comes to receiving long balls from the air.
Okay, question.
Yeah.
So I haven't spoken that much about Sanchez. Do you think Sanchez is a keeper that's going to help us in the medium term to help to win a title? Let's just say, because I think it's medium term. It's not going to be short term to win a title, but medium term.
I think he could be a part of a title winning team. I think he'll have his games.
Yeah, but I'm asking you specifically. I'm not asking you about obviously him being a member of the squad. I'm asking you being the starter. That's what I'm asking you specifically, Marshall.
If he, yes. If you want me to explain, I'll explain it to you. But yes.
Yeah, go ahead, please, because like I actually disagree with you. That's my main disagreement. My main fundamental disagreement has always been, I think Sanchez is a top 4 keeper. That's his ceiling in my personal opinion. Right?
I disagree with that.
But I think helping to win the title, I think if you look at the history of some of these goalkeepers that have been in the back, Sanchez does not really even match anywhere near their level. That's the only thing I will say.
Marshall, you're also lying.
Why?
Because did we not have a conversation about how? Do you not say that you think we can win the Champions League with Sanchez, but not the league?
This season, yeah. I don't think we're going to win the league this season. But I think we can win the Champions League.
Okay. So, but you think next season we can win the league with Sanchez and goal?
Yeah, probably.
I was trying to help you save yourself. It's fine.
No. Again, and I've said this multiple times. I'm not here to give chat or people watching this takes that you're probably going to see on Twitter, the safe takes. Like, I'm just going to tell you what I genuinely think.
No, what you say is what we see on Twitter.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. So it's like I'm not gonna hide away from it. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Then I get clowned. It is what it is. It's funny. And at the end of the day, I can laugh at myself. So it is what it is. But I think there's 3 reasons as to why I feel like with Sanchez he can help towards winning a league. Right. For one, I do think that at this rate, where I don't see him making that many errors, and it looks like he's heading in a better direction. If it keeps going in this trajectory, and this is a hypothetical, I think that's more than enough to win the league. Second reason is 3-4 seasons ago, I saw Arsenal 12 points ahead in the first league, but if it wasn't Arsenal, if it was a better team with not bottling it, Arsenal get away with it with a Ramsdale, who Ramsdale is also shit. So they were able to challenge, and they were very much in a position to win the league until they bottled it. And that's not on Ramsdale. It was mostly on the team just not being consistent.
Do you think they could have challenged the following season if Ramsdale was their number 1?
Probably. They challenged the first season with Ramsdale as number 1. I don't see why they can't do it the second time.
Yeah, but there's no expectation of
They improved in goal and didn't challenge.
What?
Arsenal, they improved in goal and didn't challenge.
Yeah.
You don't think that second year was the title race?
The second year, I thought they were in the title race,
last year,
and they were.
Last year was the third year.
So that was their third year with Arteta, where they surprised everyone and started challenging with Ramsdale?
No. Arteta's third full season at Arsenal is when they challenged, yes. What Scott is talking about is their third title challenge. Their third title challenge last year is where people say they didn't challenge. But they challenged their second title race, which was 2 years ago.
Yeah. But
So-
that's what I mean. Like, I think a lot of that, there's variables, obviously, right? And I think they improved on the goalkeeper. I do agree that Raya is better than Ramsdale, but the rest of the team wasn't up to snuff.
But Raya's
and
also
those seasons.
not good either. Well, he's good. He's also not like Raya's not good enough to win a major with.
Unfortunately, Raya in the Premier League, as of right now, is considered the best goalkeeper. Just
Over
simply
Alisson.
because he's won the Golden Glove and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's. I think he's better
not
than
better than
Alisson.
I don't think he's better than Alisson. I'm just saying the Premier League believes he's the best goalkeeper.
Yeah, but the
No, he was the
Golden
best
Glove
goalkeeper in the league
the-
last
the-
season. There's a
But
difference.
Marshall, do you know, the Golden Glove is based on your clean sheets.
Yeah.
Yeah, but your
He's
clean
made
sheet-
some good
Yeah, but the
saves.
clean sheet record is not always down to the team, or isn't
Mhm.
always down to the goalkeeper. Arsenal play with a defensive system, but 4 center backs and usually like 2 DMs in front, because the previous seasons it was Declan Rice with Partey or Declan Rice and Jorginho in front
But
of the
this
defense.
is, but that's why I'm saying, like, if we're at our most fit,
Mhm.
we can get away with having a Sanchez in goal. Because I also don't think Sanchez is so shit that he's just gonna go back to the form of like averaging an error a game.
I
We
think the
would-
issue
for
is
for one, we would need to massively upgrade on. Well, unless like Achin Pong or Saar or Anselmo
I
do
think-
something crazy this season, we
Well,
would need
that's
to
what I'm saying, when
upgrade
fit,
and get a
when
partner
fit.
for Colwell for one, and two, or for Fofana stays fit, and two.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't trust Sanchez when it comes down to it, because even though we Arsenal have upgraded with Raya, they're still not good enough. And I think when you look at Arsenal's spine, they need a top goalkeeper. They don't want.
But again, like right now, for example, I'm sorry, Ahmed, you can go after this. Right now, for example, people are rehashing their predictions. And right now, I think most of us can see the argument that Arsenal look like favorites to win the league, despite not having a world-class goalkeeper in Raya.
And Arsenal were favourites this time last year as well. But City didn't start off well.
What are you going to say, Ahmed?
I was
No,
just
can you
gonna
answer
say,
that?
listen,
Sorry, can you answer that, Marshall? Sorry, Ahmed.
Well, what was the question?
This time you said Arsenal right now look like favourites to win the league. This time last year, Arsenal were favourites to win the league because City didn't start well.
Yeah, but Arsenal didn't start well. This time they actually did start well.
No, they did, because this time last year Arsenal had played Villa, Spurs, and Man City, and they got 7 from 9 points. They should have got 9 from 9, but Trossard got sent off at halftime against City.
They were dropping points in the beginning of the season last season, and they lost Odegaard and looked void of creativity. They don't have that anymore. On top of that, they have a striker now that, although we may or may not rate him, you got to give him that at least against, the low block teams. He's a flat track bully. Maybe he can get you those goals in those games where you usually drop points.
Yeah, but okay. All right. So do you think Arsenal will win the league then?
I hope not. I still am putting my money on Liverpool because Isak is inevitable.
Sure. Forget about your hope. Do you think they'll win the league?
No.
Why?
Liverpool. Because I listen, Liverpool, say what you want with the banter and all that stuff. There is a very good manager there in Arne Slot, and I think that team is eventually going to gel, and we're going to see the best of Liverpool later.
Where do you rank Raya? Because so Sanchez is top 5 shot stopper. Where is Raya?
In the league, right?
Mhm.
I'm probably going to have to concede he's number 2. Because I think Alisson's the best shot stopper.
Okay.
He's proven it over the course of time, and Raya
Sanchez
is
fifth.
yeah.
Final question.
Actually, no.
No?
Based off of last season,
Yeah.
Sells, Alisson, and then Raya.
Okay. Final question then. because you said Sanchez and Donnarumma are like comparable, on par.
No, all I said is that I don't think getting Donnarumma is really worth it. I'd rather just hold on to Sanchez until Penders comes in. I think it's a waste of money.
Oh, okay. Changing it first. Do you think Magnan's an upgrade on Sanchez?
Yes.
Do you think Magnan's an upgrade on Raya?
Yes.
Do you think Donnarumma is an upgrade on Raya?
It's hard for me to say because I probably, yeah. I'm hesitant to say that because how good is Raya passing out the back? I don't think he's any better. Probably claims crosses better.
Wait, sorry, did you say Raya's not a better passer than Sanchez?
No, Donnarumma.
Oh.
I just don't know about Raya. I don't watch Raya.
Raya's like a very good passer of the football. That's why part of the reason why they got rid of him, rid of Ramsdale for him is because he can also.
So I would probably edge
how
it
do you
to
not know
Raya.
about? How do you say you don't watch enough of Arsenal? I don't know about Raya, but yeah, he is the third best shot stopper in this league.
Because of his stats. You can see the stats, and you can see in Champions League and multiple occasions he has saved very crucial goals.
Well, you don't watch enough of Arsenal, so how do you know?
Because saves are usually in highlights. There's plenty of highlights to see Sanchez's saves even. It makes the highlight reel.
All right, cool.
There's
Don't
nothing.
worry,
There's
don't
no
worry.
news there. I'm a highlight merchant. We all know this.
So,
Oh,
hey,
so
Ahmed, apologies, Ahmed. I'm sorry.
Not really much to say. I just think I think Marshall just overestimating. I think that Sanchez's ability. That's just what it just comes down to for me. I think again, I think we've reached. I think we need to realize that we've reached a maximum level of improvement we're ever going to be able to get out of Sanchez. That's just the god honest truth, to be honest. At least in my eyes.
Listen, I any day I will swap out Sanchez for Maignan. And if it was at no cost to the club, I would also say fuck it, switch out Sanchez for Donnarumma. But I think there's more fruit to bear with getting Maignan because I think in terms of shot stopping ability, they're probably equal level. And on top of that, Maignan gives me all around better ability on everything else. So it's more improvements versus with Donnarumma, I see only one thing improving, and it's the shot stopping. And I think right now, Sanchez's shot stopping is good enough that I can't complain about it. It's the other things that I complain about, which is the passing out the back, which is so pivotal to how we want to play. And I think that's important.
Where do you rank Raya in the world? Because you said Sanchez is just outside.
He's
top
probably
10.
in that top 10. Just because he's done it 2 seasons in a row now where he's been really important for Arsenal.
And
They were saying last season, they were saying he's potentially one of their players of the seasons. He's kept them in multiple games last season.
And did Arsenal not have a poor season though last year?
To their standard, yeah. They should have been challenging.
Okay, so player of the season for a poor season. That's fine. Thank you, Varna.
Yeah. But, yep. Listen, time will tell with that one. Let's see. We will all be here sitting and waiting for Sanchez's next mistake. And hopefully it doesn't cost us the game. And if it does, we'll be here to criticize it. Like, I'm not going to hide away from Sanchez criticism. I just try to be fair with all of it. So when it's time to criticize, I'll criticize. When it's time to applaud, I'll applaud. And I'm not even applauding the Liverpool game. I thought it was a mixed bag. I thought he had some good moments. I thought he had some shit moments. But overall, we'll see what happens this season. The last topic, by the way, people, that I'm going to be discussing is injuries. Before we get into it, smash the like if you haven't done so already. Again, apologies for lack of news, really. It's been a slow week. It's international break. This is usually how it goes. But let's talk about some injuries, and there's some big injuries we got to discuss. So Let's get it all in here. We're going to start off with Cole Palmer. So Liam Delap is apparently expected to return in 8 weeks, and Cole Palmer does not need groin surgery and will be back after next month's international break. This was as of September. So 8 weeks, meaning beginning of December is when we're supposed to expect Delap, according to Sky Cav, if he's correct here. Thomas Tuchel on Palmer's injury. That is concerning, of course. First of all, the most important thing is that he can play without pain, because the groin issue is a very dangerous one. Very dangerous one to become chronic. This is the most important thing. When he's fit and when he has rhythm and flow, he can decide matches on club level and for sure international level. We know that. So Thomas Tuchel pretty much expressing concerns about potentially having chronic groin pain for Cole Palmer. Another thing on Cole Palmer that was reported today, breaking, it will be weeks, not days, not months. And so we are looking at November as the likeliest return for Cole Palmer. The diagnosis is that Cole Palmer has a strained groin, but it is not severe enough to require surgery. So we'll start with Cole Palmer. Do you think, before you go, Scott, do you think this is the injury is that bad we've been lied to, or do you think this is Maresca saying, we have a run of games, I want you ready to go for Arsenal and Barcelona after the other international break, so I'm going to play it safe?
Lied to is probably the wrong phrase, but I would not be surprised if there is an element of they thought it was going to be a lot less and it turned out to be worse, if that makes sense.
What's the phrase for that? I know exactly what you're saying.
Because the reason I say that is, you look at the Delap thing, we were told 6 to 8 weeks originally.
Yeah.
Then it went to 10 to 12. Actually, no.
Underestimated.
We I thought, was it 4 to 6, then it went up to 6 to 8, and then it's 10 to 12 for Delap.
Yeah.
Like, it kept going up.
I've heard some reports say that New Year, pretty much, 2025.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was it. Now we're not going to see him for the rest of the year or whatever it was. But
which I don't know to believe that or not. But
so I wouldn't be surprised it's that. By the way, I think the thing about the surgery, I don't think it's been reported that it's wrong, but he is currently in Dubai.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And it could just be a holiday, but I'm pretty sure that it's been, I don't know if reported is the right word or noted, that this ownership group, when it comes to like surgeries, they often send players to like New York or Dubai or stuff like that to get surgeries done. So it might be a case of he's having surgery on the groin. But yeah, like, it's just one of those things. It was bound to happen with the amount of minutes he played in terms of an injury. It just sucks that it's this injury and it's been as severe as it's been. But this is why you have excuse me. That's why you have depth and other players who can play there. Buonanotte is not exactly who I meant, but he's going to have to play now. You know, we went from a bunch of people thought, he's barely going to play. It doesn't really matter. He's now going to play a bunch of games. Or we're going to see, or actually, no, we're not going to see Buonanotte play. What we're actually going to see is we're going to see Enzo in the 10 a lot more.
Yeah.
And also João Pedro in the 10 with you playing.
Yeah.
No, João Pedro won't play in the 10. And João Pedro is not fit anyway. So even if he does play in the 10, it's going to be a mid. I'm going to be honest. It's going to be a midfield 3. Now Lavia is fit again. It's going to be a midfield 3, or he'll put James in midfield. And
I'll be real. I'm not going to expecting Lavia to be starting a lot of games. I think Lavia's on the same treatment plan that Reece was on last year.
Reece is on.
He's not going to get a lot of minutes. Also, with this, I think Marshall, it's a bit of both. I think on the beginning, they underestimated how long he might be out for. And I think now, Maresca is doing the thing where I'm going to give you, like, the time off for these games that we should be winning without you anyway. Yeah. So long as you're 100% ready to start against Arsenal.
I don't know what
game we have before Arsenal. But
I got you, bro. Nottingham Forest, Ajax, Sunderland, Wolves in the Cup. And the only one I'm worried about, and I know it's banter, people say I shouldn't worry, but it's also Thomas Frank. I'm not going to underestimate him. Okay. It's Spurs, yeah.
And then we play Spurs, and then it's Barcelona midweek, and then Arsenal, right?
No. Then we go into another international break.
Oh, and then it's Arsenal first after international break.
Yeah, let me just double check. But yeah, I believe so.
Oh, okay, yeah. So then that perfectly makes sense. That aligns up. Then we'll be playing by the international break, or
Oh, Karabag and then Wolves again in the league, and then we have an international break, and then Burnley, Barcelona, Arsenal.
oh wait, so it's Spurs, Karabag, then Wolves.
Yep, Karabag.
Okay, cool. So Palmer, I mean, it'll be annoying because you won't have a run of games leading up to Arsenal, but I'm gonna assume Palmer will be ready to start against Arsenal.
That's what I'm
So yeah,
hoping for.
that makes perfect sense. It gives you enough time to like recover because Palmer played a lot of minutes last year.
Yeah.
Like remember, he got injured, came back, poor form, and was still having to play. And then apparently playing through this groin injury during the Club World Cup as well, at the start of the season. He needs he definitely needs a rest because this summer is a World Cup. He's not going to get a rest at all. So he needs this time off. So that's good on Maresca. We should be winning these games without him. So if we don't win, I don't want people complaining we don't have Palmer. No, we should be winning these games regardless.
That's why I don't mind it. Like, I feel this is a good move in terms of like, because I do think the groin injury is not good. Like, if you guys probably saw it when Jarrell Hato crashed into him, he looked like he was in a lot of pain. Like, if you weren't in that much pain, you probably don't like wince as bad as you do. Like, he got genuinely upset that Hato like crashed into him, and he immediately held his groin and like kind of walked it off. So I think he's in a lot of groin pain. So if you give him like, how long is that? So we're 1 week, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks essentially to recover. Actually, not even 5, 6, 7 weeks. 7 weeks to recover with the international break and everything. I think hopefully, if it doesn't require surgery like these doctors are saying, then hopefully he's back to his best self. Because we also don't know how long he's been playing for, right? Like, we already knew last season at the end of the 2 seasons ago at the end of the last season, Enzo Fernandez was playing with hernia the whole time. Players play through pain all the time. You're seeing with Moises as well. You're muted, by the way, Prime.
Apparently, he's been playing with this during the Club World Cup as well.
Yeah, so like he needs a break to recover and get that better. So that's the issue with Palmer. This just came up today as well, so this is news on us. But yeah, I agree. Our games are easy enough. We should be able to win without Cole. We have game changers that, if they stay fit, should give us results in Stevao and so on and so forth. Hopefully these other players also step up. So I'm not too worried about Palmer being out. Stevao, yeah.
Stevao.
So you don't say the Estevao, you say Stevao, yeah.
Stevao, okay.
Cool. Yeah, or just call him Steve.
We're not gonna. No, he's actually he could have been a Ballon d'Or. I'm not gonna have a guy called Steve winning a Ballon d'Or, guys. Stop.
Ed Maresca on Andre Santos, who's also injured, suffered an injury and will be out until the end of international break. So I'm hoping Andre Santos also comes back after international break. He wasn't called up to the Brazilian team, so he's got the next 2 weeks off. So a little bit of a thought here on the Chelsea injuries. So former Nigerian midfielder and Chelsea scout in Africa, Seyi Olofinjana, on Chelsea's injuries and struggles. I work for Chelsea, but did I do it right? Olofinjana?
You tried.
I'm proud of myself. Oh,
tried.
Okay, never mind. I work for Chelsea, but to be honest, this is what I discussed even with the directors in the football club. Before any ball was kicked this season, I knew Chelsea would struggle given the season they had last year. When they play back-to-back and then you only have a week to come back into the new season, it happened with Colwell, who has an ACL at the moment and will be out for a long time. Understand, this is from PYS, understand several Chelsea players are battling through pains and small knocks right now for the team. One of them being Moises Caicedo, who is playing with some knee pain and is not 100% fit. Others include João Pedro, Enzo Fernandez, and more. And let me tell you right now, this motherfucker, Moises Caicedo, has been playing with knee pain since last season. So he's not had time to recover at all. Caicedo and João Pedro had to skip training sessions of late, while Fernandes has been spotted with strapping his knee. They are playing due to others being unavailable. Again, Isu goes out injured. Lavia is still returning to fitness. You have Sanchez now injured. We're falling apart. Told Caicedo's knees issue is patella femoral pain. Ecuador are reconsidering whether or not to call Moises Caicedo up for international duty after Enzo Maresca said he is in physical discomfort. And I'll do this as well to end it on the midfield section. Enzo Maresca and Romeo Lavia against Liverpool. Romeo is ready to play. With Romeo, we are trying to do exactly the same thing we did with West and Reece, which is what Prime mentioned before. As you can see now, Reece is playing more games without problems. Hopefully we can do the same with Romeo. And I will admit, Reece has now played 4 games back-to-back in the Premier League, 90 minutes. So we are seeing progress with Reece. We are seeing more consistency with Reece. And with Romeo, personally I don't think he's an injury-prone player. I think he's going through a patch. I think he's going through a patch of injuries right now. And after this, the injuries he's going to get are probably knocks and just quick injuries. You know what I mean?
He is an injury-prone player. However, you don't remain that forever. You can get out of that. Because Robin used to be injury-prone. Remember at Chelsea and even at Real Madrid. But at Bayern, he was able to figure it out. You said Reece playing 4 games in a row. Remember the last international break when he played 2 games for England back-to-back? And Chelsea fans were like, why did he not take him off, whatever? And I think Tuchel maybe said something about Reece playing back.
Oh, yeah, we can add those too, yeah.
Yeah, and then Maresca then said, yeah, Reece is fit enough to be able to play this. So, again, that's just credit to Maresca. Now, we don't necessarily need Reece to have to be playing 90-minute games back-to-back all the time. No, we don't. Per se. However, in these games we've had lately where we've not been winning, we've had to have Reece on the field. But yeah, I just, seeing what we've just had with Reece, if we can do the same with Lavia, it'll be great. Because as much as I dunk on him all the time because he's never fit, he is a quality player.
I think he's a phenomenal player. When fit, I do think we're going to concede a lot less goals, which also goes in part of this whole, like, I'm not trying to get into the argument. I agree with people now that we need a center back, but like, I think in terms of...
Say it again.
I'm not trying to get into the argument. I guess you must have not been in the streams when I admitted this, Scott.
It'll help how we play out the back. I agree with you.
It'll help how we play out the back, but I also think it'll help us defensively. Because I'll admit, especially after seeing Chalobah this season, sorry, Scott, I had to throw a little jab there. Especially after seeing Chalobah this season, I agree that, you know what? I overestimated our center backs. We did need another center back in the summer. So had a humbling experience with that. But having Lavia in the team and fit, and if it goes the same way like with Reece, right? Fofana's a different discussion. I don't know with Fofana. Fofana has had a career of injuries, so I don't know if he's fixable. But Lavia, I know at Southampton he was fit, was a key player for them. Never really got injured. Never really had injury issues, period, up until the Pochettino season. And then last season, repercussions of that. This season, I hope he changes it. He will get injured eventually. It will be like a small pain, a knock or something. Just typical injuries. Yeah, just typical injuries, tightness in certain areas and stuff like that. Nothing that'll have you out for months at a time. But I hope this season, if Lavia stay fits, maybe this is part of the whole, you can find in-house solutions. You don't need a center back. I
can't lie to you, Marshall. I despise that phrase now, by the way.
Which one? Oh, find in-house solutions?
Internal solutions. I
Wait, did Scott get cut off?
No, I was just saying I despise that phrase, internal solutions. I hate that. Like I hate that phrase now.
Listen, Varna, prior to Chelsea, never had injuries, really.
He had one injury prior to signing to Chelsea. He is an injury-prone player. It's like Prime said, it's not something he can come back from. It's also not his fault. That's the worst thing. It's not even like, I'm not saying obviously injuries are never someone's fault, but you do have sometimes where players rush themselves back or whatnot, or they're maybe not taking care of their body as well as they can. With Lavia, like he got one injury, or it wasn't even an injury. He was like not fully fit after one preseason, like the summer we bought him, and then Pochettino got his terrorist hands on him and started making him do friggin' like suicide sprints in training, and he's messed him up. Like that's all it is. Is Poch has ruined this kid's career to an extent.
To an extent, yeah. I think he can get bounced back from it, because like people who rival fans mostly who only really got to see Lavia play for the first time in a while against Liverpool. That's Lavia every game, not just that game. Like Lavia is such a good midfielder, capable of changing and controlling a game. Like literally just press resistant. He'll make his mistakes. Obviously, he's young. Like he's not mistake proof, right? But you know, Moy also makes mistakes. Enzo makes mistakes. Like players make mistakes. They're human after all. But I genuinely feel like Lavia, especially defensively, will be a really big game changer if he can stay fit. Just imagine like having a pivot, being the opposition team, and you're looking at your midfield in front of you and be like, oh, you're telling me I have to get past Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia? Yeah. Hook me, please, sir. Like, I'm not doing this job. This is not going to be an easy job at all. So I really think when Lavia comes back to the team, we'll start seeing a lot more consistency from this team. I really do. So this is a player that we need back. And as far as Moises Caicedo and Enzo and João Pedro go, they need time to recover. I really hope that in this international break, Moises can feel better. But eventually, Moises is going to have an injury leading from this knee pain. It's going to happen. There's going to be a long-term injury at some point. But it's a matter of like how you manage it, when surgery is required, so on and so forth. One last one to bring up as well, and I'll also bring up another topic, but Reece James has dropped out of the England squad after sustaining an injury against Liverpool. According to the FA, he has been in excellent form, so hopefully nothing major. He posted this picture on his Instagram account where he basically didn't get called for a foul for, what was it? I think it was McAllister, or I forget who it was. Completely just scraped his shin down. And it wasn't called as a foul for whatever reason. Reece James' injury is not cut on his leg. However, it's not serious, and his withdrawal from England is viewed as precautionary. Told it's a minor issue with James and would have kept him out of both England games, so England took the decision to send him back to Chelsea. It's expected to be a short-term injury. Fabrizio Romano saying that Reece James is expected to be fully recovered in the next days and available straight away after international break. Good news for Chelsea. Hamstring muscle tightness due to overload. Chelsea and England felt it was not worth taking the risk with the injury. And this leads me into the next thing, right? So there's a few things that it's unfortunate Ahmed's not here, because Ahmed probably would have enjoyed talking about this, because this actually supports his argument. But including preseason, Chelsea played 70 games between July 2024 and July 2025, averaging a game every 5.1 days for close to an entire year. Including preseason, PSG played 67 games between August and July, averaging a game every 5.1 days for 11 months straight. Now, Chelsea are without Palmer, Colwill, Tosin, Lavia, and Fofana, plus Delap, Asugo, and Andre Santos, who were at the club last season, whilst PSG are without Dembele, Doué, Marquinhos, João Neves, and Kvaratskhelia. The schedule has to be looked at, and I think that is a very, very valid argument. It's no coincidence that City falling apart. You have PSG falling apart. Our team falling apart. We continue on. FIFA Pro's annual player workload monitoring report reveals that none of the clubs that took part in the summer's Club World Cup gave their players the recommended minimum of 28 days off between seasons. And I don't even think they really got 28 days off after the tournament ended. It was just 3 weeks, 21 days. And then lastly here, Pretty much players are going to get back after the international break, which includes Tosin, Palmer, James, Caicedo, Pedro, Garnacho, Santos, Lavia, Fofana, Chalaba, Badiashile. It's a huge win for us in the international break to recover key players. We're going to get a lot of players back during the international break. Yeah, it's a shame. I'm just glad Reece is okay because that's a player that I need Reece to be healthy because Reece is also another player that, as much as people hate him playing in the midfield, he's a type of player that is good enough to play any position, mind you. I also think
center back.
Currently,
I mean, half of me is saying that in jest. Half of me is like, I believe it. I've been saying like, just put Reece at center back since Fofana got out. It's something I've been wanting to see. So, but yeah, sorry, just a little joke. Sorry, my bad.
No, it's fine. I'm just saying that Reece is such a good player that I just need to fit him into the team because he has the ability to change a game by himself. And his ability, this is important in Maresca's system, right? You saw how Moises had that one reverse pass that took 3 midfielders from Liverpool out of the game. Reece James also has that in his locker. He has that passing ability to take players out of the game and completely go towards what Maresca wants to do. So he needs to stay fit. So I'm glad that he's been staying fit. And these other players, when they come back, hopefully Lavia, Santos, all these other guys, hopefully they can chip in and we can start having more consistent results. I really like the Maresca's being able to keep players fit. But I got to admit that I think it was worth it. But I got to admit that Club World Cup, I think, is starting to really pay its toll on the way our season's gone so far. Prime, I don't know if you agree or think it's all pish posh.
I don't know if we can. I mean, if talking about the amount of minutes people have played and stuff, I guess. But look at Man City, who went to the semi-finals last year, right? Or at the Club World Cup. Did they? Semi-finals? No, it was
quarterfinals.
But okay. But they played like 55-ish games last season, I'm assuming. So they have a few injuries, but they don't have a lot of injuries, and they've still started off well. And yes, not every game they've been brilliant, but at least their best players are turning up. So for Haaland, Foden has started the season well. At Chelsea, I'll be real. If the red card doesn't happen against Brighton, I mean, again, I didn't watch the game, but from what I'm being told, we controlled the game and we were winning up until the red card.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Yeah. We were doing really well up until the red card.
And against United,
it was too.
Yes, I know it's our bogey ground. We never win, but if Sanchez doesn't get sent off, minimum? I think that's a draw. So
probably
that's an extra 4 points that we should have right now, and we're only 3 points away from Spurs, and they're second. I'm pretty sure, right? Or Spurs might be third now, actually. The Liverpool.
I think they're fourth.
Okay. So if we had 4 extra points, where would we be in the league right now?
Oh, no, they're third. You're right. If we had 4 extra points, we'd be tied for second with Liverpool.
Okay. And no one would be talking about how these injuries have affected us. So it's only 2 results from my perspective. Palace game, I told people after the Palace game, they're going to be difficult for everyone. They beat Liverpool. So, yeah, I don't think it's like an injuries of why that's affected. I think it's only like 2 games. Yes, we haven't started the season brightly in terms of performances, but nor have City. But their best players have been actually performing. If anyone watched the game against Brentford, they weren't good, City. And if they didn't have Donnarumma, if they had Ederson, they lose that game. So I think people are going too far. We haven't even played 10 Premier League games yet. People are going too far because in 3 games' time, Chelsea could be, if we win our games, which we should, we could be second. So what does that then mean? Because that'll be 10 games. So I think people are going too far with the Club World Cup having an effect. Has it had even PSG? Like, who cares if they started the season 40? They'll still win their league. So who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a cause for concern because of player welfare, which is why I'm more in favor of this new international break that they're doing, because it at least gives players a good amount of break between the seasons. But I think the problem I have with this is that I also am a fond believer that exercise, working out, all that stuff is good for you. Obviously, you can do too much, but that would be in a session where you're doing too much and you're really pushing yourself to the point where, like, you just can't. I think it's worse for player fitness or just general fitness to take long breaks in between to recover, because let's be honest, like, I think what people are asking for is for, you know, Moises Caicedo needs 3 weeks off, 4 weeks off. Well, okay, cool. Give him 4 weeks off. When he comes back, he's going to be at risk for more injuries because his muscles have gotten weaker as a result of not being fit, not playing game in, game out. It's also a maintenance thing for me. Listen, I could be wrong. I'm not a professional weightlifter. I'm not a professional fitness person, but from the fitness that I've done, from their physical therapy that I've been a part of, from personal fitness, like, I feel like if I don't work out for more than 2 weeks, I get weaker, and I feel like I'm suscepting myself or putting myself in a place where I can get more injuries as a result of not being as strong as I should be. So I don't know. Like, obviously, you're going to get injuries in football regardless because you're overextending yourself. You're really putting your body on the line, tackles, stuff like that happens. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think the method of preventing injuries is doing less work or resting more. I think rest does play a part, but most people, especially these young guys, 24 hours is enough rest for them to not sustain an injury. Whether it's optimal for performance, probably not. But most people that have gone to the gym and lifted weights know that after 2 days, the soreness isn't as bad. You're not in as shitty a situation. Maybe 3 days is ideal before you feel nothing to it. But I don't know. This is me, talking out of my ass to an extent. So I don't know. I also feel like, I don't know if I 100% agree that these players have been overworked because they have had a break. They're not playing every day. They're playing every 4 days, 3 days. I know in that schedule, yeah, it can be a little risky, but after Club World Cup, Prime, I think you can attest to this even. After Club World Cup, with everything they played, I think 3 weeks was more than enough for them to be well rested.
3 weeks was a perfect amount for you to get your rest, but also not too much time where, like, you get out of shape. Because we see what Caicedo, the last 2 seasons he's been with us, he's had a slow, start. Well, I say slow start, like a bad first game of the season because it takes time to build up speed. And Enzo is the sort of player where he starts slow anyway as well. So, yeah. I don't know. If we had beaten United or, say, drawn against United and beaten Brighton, we'd be second and no one would be talking about this Club World Cup stuff. I'll be so real. It's just because of 2 dumb red cards for us to lose 2 games.
Yeah,
there's no crisis or worry or anything.
I mean, there is an injury crisis, but I don't know if I'm gonna completely put it all up to the
The injury
World Cup.
crisis. Who are the players injured?
We have a lot.
Buffon is injury prone. Badia has just come back from injury.
Well,
Palmer's had his
Fofana-
groin issues since the summer. Who else is there? Colwell, that's unfortunate, fine. Who else is there?
Tosin had a calf injury.
Yeah.
Who else is in that? Center back. Chalobah got suspended. He's not injured. Andre Santos injured for now, or at least until international break. Isugo got an injury on his hamstring, I believe, during international break. Delap is another player that's injured. Palmer, you mentioned that already.
Those injuries.
There's a hefty list there.
How many of them are to do with the Club World Cup? We can't prove they're from the Club World Cup.
Yeah, we can't really. It's just
I think people are using it as a cop out, and I get the whole thing of like player welfare and stuff, but these guys have had a break. They had the break. So what now? Like Reece, I think Reece posting that pic on a story is smart, because I think Chelsea and the spoke with Tuchel for him not to go with this international break, because we know Tuchel loves Reece. So they did this to protect him. That's why after the game they put out this thing of he's injured. So that's a good reason to actually drop him out of the squad. I think again, I don't know. I think people are just going too far. If we had won 2 more games, no one's talking about any sort of crisis. No one's talking about Club World Cup having an effect. I'll be honest. We're fine.
All right. Yeah, I probably agree. But all right, cool. We're going to end the show there, ladies and gents. Big up for every single one of you. Again, international break. News is a little slow, but hopefully you guys are able to enjoy the content, able to enjoy the conversations and debate and discussion. If you did enjoy the content, be sure to smash up the like button. If you do smash up the like button, if you're on mobile, be sure to hype up the video. Leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on everything we discussed today. Be sure to also subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 5K subscribers. And quite frankly, subscriptions have been a little dry. So if you want to help out towards that 5K subscribers, please do so. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow to do a Chelsea Hour show, because it's time to be shameless, guys. It's time to be shameless as Chelsea fans. It's time to be shameless. So I'll be back tomorrow to do a Chelsea Hour show. But also, guys, like I said, memberships. There's 4 different tiers starting at 99p, and you guys can really help out the channel by subscribing to become a member, as it does help. It's one of the best ways to help keep the lights on here at Casually FC. And if you are a proper casual member and higher, I give shout outs to those members at the end of every show, and that's going to be Dark, Lanri Sadiq, A. Soliman, EE, and Adrian. Lanri Sadiq is the only one who has not been a member for long enough to be a Cement Mixer Gang. But sooner or later, you will get there, my friend. Everyone else, Cement Mixer Gang, big up. Appreciate you guys. If you know, you know. But yeah, ladies and gents, be sure to check out all that stuff. We're going to raid out to, hold on. We're going to raid out to Sarcasm City. I'm going to give you the raid message right now. Copy and paste the raid message. Let them know where you're coming from. I believe Friday, I'm going to do a watch along for the U.S. men's national team, because I like TJ as a friend, but you know, sometimes as a friend, I feel like I have to make sacrifices for my friends. So I'm going to put myself through the misery of watching Potch Ball. But I'm mostly going to be looking out for Kendry Paez, who hopefully got called up to Ecuador. But yeah, I'll be there. Be here tomorrow for Chelsea Hour. And yeah, guys, stay tuned. Be sure to stick around. International break will be done soon. And before you know it, we'll be talking Chelsea again. But until then, have a wonderful night, guys. Thank you for smashing. Ooh.
Sarcasm City, I think, are about to end.
We're gonna raid out to Lee Gunner. Let me fix that then.
Are they? Wait, hold on. No, I can find out. 1 second, I'll find out.
I'll just raid out. It doesn't matter, even if he's about to end. But yeah, big up every single one of you. Copy and paste the raid message. Let Sarcasm City know where you're coming from. And as always, guys, have a wonderful night. Stay casual. Peace out.